If you've ever hoped that the Stanley Cup Finals is going to continue, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook. This time, it's the Tuesday, June 17th edition. We're going to break down the little bit of news that's out there. We're going to get you ready. Got a Fed meeting starting today. We're going to hear what comes out of that here tomorrow and break all of that down. Hope that you all had a wonderful Monday evening as we truck closer to the end of our truncated week. Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook for Tuesday, June 17th starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Hope that you all had a great evening last night. I actually didn't even check who won that game. Should have done that. Check right now. All right. Oklahoma City took it. We'll see. Anyway, the game I really care about is tonight. But before we do that, we've got to make our way through today's market. And it looks like here S&P futures under pressure in general by a little bit here today. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Hello, Kayla. Welcome back. Good to see you. Sun-kissed Yogi. Good morning. Welcome back. C-Dub. Good morning, my man. Welcome back. Peter, you want to take a look at Google? We'll go ahead and add Google to the list here. Sure. Good morning, Peter. Welcome back. Paul, good morning. It's great to see you again as well. Pete, good morning. Welcome back. Esrar, good morning and welcome back. Yassine, good morning. Reaching Financial Freedom says, peace for the world. Hopefully we are getting closer to that. Indeed. I'm with you on that one. Laura in Florida, good morning. Hopefully you're doing well here today. Big Bear hug. I know you're doing well. Good morning. All sorts and Chuck and producer. Good morning. Javon, day trader and Brandy. Good morning. Very good morning, Ryan. Very good morning to you. Yeah, so fine. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Jonathan, welcome back. Hunter, welcome back. Turlingua, welcome back. Welcome back from vacation, ready to work. Hey, you know what? At least you came back from vacation ready to work because that's not always the case. Sometimes I'm not motivated and it's my own fault, but we're going to make some money here today. Gary, welcome back. My Pacers got their butts kicked. I'm sorry about that. And they should have won the last game too. I'm just hoping both these series go 7. We'll see if that's the case. Sorry about that, Gary. Rooster, good morning. Neville, good morning. Quantum, good morning. Edward and Big Bees, good morning. Neville, you want to take a look at Oscar? Let me add that to the list as well. Absolutely. Jay Wild, good morning. JJ, good morning. Great to see you folks back here. White Chocolate Mocha, good morning. Jim, good morning. Charles, good morning. Dave, day trader, good morning. Jane, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. And Richard, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and dive into what's going on. First, we're going to start with the morning update, courtesy of Benzinga Pro. We're going to run through a couple of the things that we need here today. Then we'll start taking a look at some charts. As mentioned early, futures are slightly under pressure here. We're going to talk about the news coming out of the Middle East, which is likely weighing on the market here. You can see that oil is actually up today, despite coming in a little bit yesterday. Gold is also up slightly here today. Bitcoin also under pressure a little bit. The big data point that we're expecting today is going to be the retail sales. Now, how much that causes the market to move, I'm not really sure. I don't feel all that confident about it. Don't really care. Unless there's something in there that's kind of surprising. I don't see that being the case. We'll see if we get any movement out of that, but I suspect that print won't really matter today. As far as the upcoming IPOs, MENS, M-E-N-S, is going to be your IPO today. This is Jiang Biotech. So this is going to be one of those Chinese biotech IPOs. I don't know if I'm going to play this or not. I don't have any plans to do so. Looks like it was priced between $7.50 and $8. So we'll see where that opens here today. As far as the company events, we only have one today. It's Wainwright's annual Neuro Perspectives Hybrid Conference, and it's Voyager Therapeutics that's going to report there. So that's VYGR, not VOYG, which is Voyager Technologies, the defense company. So that's the only one going on here today. I don't know if that's going to cause VYGR to move, but put that on your watch list if that's something that you're looking at. As far as the initiations today, nothing crazy. We did have Solar Edge here marked as a sell. I would imagine that we might see some more solar names get marked as sells. Solar under pressure here today. We had let's see, nothing else. Roku had an upgrade. Remember, Roku actually was up just shy of 11% yesterday. Another 2% tacked on here in the pre-market on the back of that. On the back of the upgrade there. That's Loop Capital with a buy rating and the price target going to 100. As far as the earnings today, nothing really big. I think the biggest one is probably Lazy Boy, and that's going to be after the market closes. No plans to play any of those earnings. So that's kind of what's going on. Let's take a look at the chart. Here's your SPY chart. Still trading sideways. We're not far from all-time highs. 613.23 is going to be that all-time high. So far, we're doing a good job holding 600. Earlier in the pre-market, we are up off the lows here in the pre-market. We were beneath 600. We've reclaimed that. I think the 600 level is absolutely going to be a key level today. Can we stay above it? We shall see. One of the other things that we're going to be looking for is, do we break out of the range of yesterday? If we look back inside here, let's take a look and let's go back. This area right in here is proving to be awfully stubborn. 603 to 605, let's call it. Really, it's 603 to 604 and a half. But this 603 to 605 area, we've really struggled to break through that. And while we're doing a good job, the market is remaining resilient and holding up here in the face of a lot of not great news, I guess we'll put it. We still just have not generated enough strength to go through here. So this level is going to remain a key level until we can take that out, or until we can hold above that, really a peak above that. Might not even do. So 604, 605, definitely going to be some of your upside levels. Some of your downside levels here. I'm going to start here with the 20-day moving average. Now, we'll see what happens with 600. We might give that up right out of the open here. If we trade higher out of the open, obviously 600 would be a key level on the way back down. But if we just give this up here, I'd be looking at yesterday's lows, which is about 595. Remember, that 593 to 595 area should provide some ample support for us, as that was ample resistance on the way back up. If we break through that, we've got 594 right in the middle of that range for your 20-day. We'll see if we can hold that. If we really start to sell off today, I've got 582.30 as the downside level, and then the trend line here a little bit higher, about 589, a little bit shy of 589. So we'll see which way the market goes here today. Tomorrow is when we're going to hear from the Fed. I guess I expect a little bit more movement with that tomorrow. And the odd thing about this week is that we get the FOMC meeting data tomorrow. Then we have Thursday off, and then we come back on Friday. Now, I'm not sure how many people are going to be here on Friday. It might be a volatile day just because it's low volume, but we'll see how people digest the information that we get from the FOMC on Wednesday. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss anything here? No, I don't think so. Good morning, anyone that I missed. So Cad Monkey, ATL Russ, Tyler, Jonathan, and Zach McCracken. Good morning, Booglog, Judge, Shanlu, and ADL. Good morning. Run a poll asking anyone if they will buy the newly announced T1 phone, the Trump phone, on their newly announced cell service. I'm not going to. Producer, if you want to throw that poll up, you can. I would imagine that that's going to not get the greatest response, but I don't mind. Go ahead, throw that up there, producer, if you want to do that. We want to get a laugh here today. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Shisan Shika, good morning. I like that name. I like that name a lot. Okay. Let me dive into some of the news here. There's really not a whole lot, so we'll probably spend a lot of time talking about charts. It is a T3 Tuesday. We're going to have Adam Mesh on here today. That's always a great time. So let me just roll through some of the news here real quick, get you caught up on everything that's going on. And then we'll go ahead and prepare for the market. U.S. stock futures tumble after Trump threatens, quote, real end to Iran's nuclear problem. Avoid getting whipsawed by the noise, says an expert. That's really good advice. I like that. President Trump called on Iranians to leave Tehran yesterday, pointing to the government's refusal to accept a new deal aimed at limiting nuclear weapons development amid ongoing attacks between Israel and Iran that marked the fifth consecutive day on Tuesday. At the G7 summit in Canada, world leaders urged a reduction in tensions during the most severe clash ever between these regional adversaries, labeling Iran as a source of instability and insisting it must never acquire nuclear weapons, while also recognizing Israel's right to self-defense. Trump took to Truth Social on Monday to clarify his abrupt departure from the G7 summit in Canada. He refuted Macron's claim that he was returning to Washington to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Quote, he has no idea why I'm on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with the ceasefire. It's much bigger than that, end quote. Trump had previously urged citizens of Tehran, Iran's capital, to evacuate immediately, indicating a potential U.S. involvement in the conflict. Meanwhile, President Trump, while on Air Force One, returning from the G7 summit, told reporters he is seeking a real end to Iran's nuclear issue, with Tehran giving it up entirely. So from the outset of this, my silver lining here, really don't want the U.S. to get involved in any more Middle East skirmishes. I hope this is not the way that it plays out. But if it does, hopefully the long-term or results of this are actually beneficial. Iran clearly the problem over there, and I agree, just like everyone else, they should not be in control of nuclear weapons. That's for sure. More good news here. 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.43%. The 2-year bond was 3.96. So those aren't rising anymore. Those are coming in a little bit, which is exactly what we really need here. Wanted to go down here. Some of those didn't really matter. I wanted to get some of these analysts here, despite dominating geopolitical headlines. And indeed, every time I open up X, I have to actually go through stuff to find sports news. It's really mostly about all of this conflict and everything that's going on. They are absolutely dominating the headlines. Senior economist at Wisdom Tree, Jeremy Siegel, told investors that they need to focus on more meaningful development, quote, the continued softening of inflation data, end quote. Both CPI and PPI came in on the low side, confirming the disinflationary trend that has been evident. These price increases have not yet fully worked their way into the data and are likely to show up over the next couple of months. Boy, doesn't it sound like our chat here is pretty much on top of things every single day? Because I feel like we have these same conversations every day. We got people on both sides. I absolutely love it. Roxy, good morning. Jose, good morning. EKS, great to see you again. Good morning. Sanshika, good morning. XE Media, good morning. And James, good morning. Okay. Where did I lost my place there? Sorry. Both CPI and PPI came in on the low side, confirming the disinflationary trend that has been evident. This is what we've been talking about here, despite what the yapping on television has been. These price increases have not fully worked their way into the data and are likely to show up over the next couple of months. Even so, the underlying trend is down. Excluding tariff impacts coming up, my view remains firm. Ex tariffs, inflation is cooling, and the Fed should begin easing policy, end quote. So again, if you get any type of good print after the tariffs are really supposed to jack inflation, I think it's going to be time then for the Fed at that point. We'll see if that's how it shakes out. He said he remains optimistic about the stock market. Markets have shown impressive resilience. That's true. We've seen it here on a regular basis. Inflation is heading in the right direction. We've seen that on a pretty regular basis here. And the Fed will ultimately come along. Stay focused on the fundamentals and avoid getting whipsawed by the noise. Now, this is part of probably my favorite part of this entire article. Really, the staying true here and not kind of flipping back and forth. That's really what's going to be the best for getting through this. Shout out to those that are tactical on some of these buys. Or some of these trades, I guess I should say, whether it's a short or a long here. There's opportunities to make money. But just be careful, be deliberate, and don't flip-flop and go back and forth. Avoid as much noise as you can. Meanwhile, Jeff Bookbinder, the chief equity strategist at LPL Financial, explained that there are several key questions to answer before we know how stocks will handle this geopolitical shock, including how much of Iran's energy infrastructure will be impaired and for how long. Whether Iran's nuclear capabilities will be completely wiped out, and whether or not the current regime will remain in power. Now, those last two, it seems like that's what this is all about, right? Definitely seems like there's not going to be any nuclear program there. Number of nuclear targets were already hit. Half their nuclear atomic scientists are gone now. So it certainly looks like that's the case. And all of the rhetoric coming out of this area is about a regime change there. The whole ceasefire, negotiations, all of that has to do with the regime change. It's very clearly that the regime is the problem, not the people. And we'll see, again, how this all shakes out. For those surprised that the U.S. stock market held up well on Monday, Bookbinder argued that it was a combination of several factors. We were taking a look at this yesterday. We were especially strong out of the gate. The rest of the day was kind of a disappointment as we basically just bled back some of those gains. The likelihood of a regime change in Iran is resulting in a peace dividend. That's bullet point number 1. U.S. energy independence, bullet point number 2. Israel's interest in limiting the suffering of Iranian civilians, which could lead to limited disruption in oil production facilities, is number 3. And both players have limited resources and interest in keeping the conflict contained, is bullet point number 4. Now, all of this can change. Obviously, we were just talking about Trump leaving the G7 early. We'll see what this all happens. We'll see what happens here. But all of this can change depending on what the U.S. decides to do. A little bit more on that real quick. Trump says the Israel-Iran ceasefire not on the table, left G7 early for a much bigger reason. SPY and QQQ dip in the pre-market. And again, that's on the thought that the U.S. may get involved here, which is less than ideal. U.S. President Trump has dismissed French President Emmanuel Macron's assertion that he left the G7 summit for a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, hinting at a more significant reason for his return to Washington. Trump took to Truth Social on Monday to clarify his abrupt departure from the G7 summit in Canada. He refuted Macron's claim that he was returning to Washington to negotiate a ceasefire. Quote, he has no idea why I'm on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with ceasefire. It's much bigger than that. Trump's post comes amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, where with the conflict between Israel and Iran entering its 5th day. Trump had previously urged citizens of Tehran, Iran's capital, to evacuate immediately, indicating potential U.S. involvement. Now, it's very clear here that the U.S. has known, or at least the government here has known, what Israel's going to do here, at least for the most part. The worry here is obviously about involvement. We'll see if the U.S. can still remain on the sideline. It doesn't really feel like they need to get involved, at least not in my opinion. Meanwhile, President Trump, while on Air Force One returning from the G7 summit, told reporters he is seeking, quote, a real end to Iran's nuclear issue that would hopefully stabilize the Middle East for years, with Tehran giving it up entirely rather than merely agreeing to a ceasefire. Ceasefire just seems like temporary. Looks like we're actually looking for peace in the region here, not just a temporary stop to the fighting, only to have this kick up again in the future. Trump's post and his call for evacuation of Tehran have led to a spike in bets that the U.S. strike against Iran on cryptocurrency betting platforms. Again, this is what we're talking about that hopefully we can avoid. Meanwhile, Iran is considering exiting the nuclear non-proliferation treaty amid the escalating tensions with Israel. This move comes as accusations regarding Iran's nuclear ambitions intensify. I got to think that this is kind of a minor thing, as most of their stuff has been destroyed. Trump's post suggests that his return to Washington might be related to these escalating tensions, but the exact reasons remain unclear. Stay tuned, he concluded in his post. So we're left to guess. We will see what happens here. Okay, now let's go to some other news here real quick. I did want to start with Bill. You were mentioning T-Mobile here. We do have a couple of stories. Let's start with this T-Mobile story. Let's actually go back to the charts first here. Let's pull up T-Mobile. Let's take a look at the chart, and then we'll go in through some of the news that's going on. Now, T-Mobile here down 4.3% in the pre-market. So here we go. Closed at just under 230 yesterday. A little bit weak here today. When we look at the daily chart, the reason that this is important is because it did look like we were getting ready to try and recapture this 200. We've got some pretty good moving average levels right above it that would give us some decent targets. And we're also in a really good spot on the RSI and the Williams percent R here. MACD is curling as well. So it looked like maybe we were curling back up here and we were in a possible spot where we could recapture this 200. If we look back, look how long it's been since the stock has been on the 200. It goes all the way back to October of 2023. So a recapture of this would actually set up for a pretty decent swing trade long. We're able to do that. Today, though, not getting that. Now today we're actually trading down 4.3%, making it even harder to reclaim that moving average. Now let's take a look at the news. SoftBank moves to raise $4.9 billion with the overnight T-Mobile block sale. Stock drops 4% after hours as investors digest the discount. Japan's SoftBank Group is reportedly looking to raise $4.9 billion in a sizable overnight stake sale. On Tuesday, it was revealed that the Japanese investment holding company would be raising these funds via an unregistered overnight block sale of the U.S., according to a report by Bloomberg, which saw the terms of the deal. SoftBank is offering 21.5 million shares of the telecom giant at a price range of $224 to $228 per share. Remember, price right now is $220 at the moment, representing a 3% discount to T-Mobile's closing price on Monday of $231. The deal, when completed, is set to be the largest U.S. equity block sale since Toronto Dominion Bank, the $13.1 billion divestiture of its stake in Charles Schwab. In February, it also adds to the growing wave of equity offerings by new and existing shares, reaching $91.4 billion so far in 2025, which is up $75.9 billion last year. As of March 31st, 2025, SoftBank held 85.4 million T-Mobile shares, equivalent to a 7.52% stake, which was originally acquired as part of Sprint's $26.5 billion merger with T-Mobile in 2020. SoftBank had acquired a majority stake in T-Mobile back in 2013. Following the proposed transaction, SoftBank's stake will shrink by 1.9 percentage points, leaving it with roughly a 5.6% stake in the company. So this is interesting. They're reducing their stake by a sizable amount. I mean, this is a lot. They still have a sizable amount, and this trim, if you will, is leading to the move down here in T-Mobile. And it just comes at a very unfortunate time on the chart, like we just kind of examined there. The transaction is being managed by Bank of America, and neither SoftBank nor T-Mobile has immediately responded to Benzinga for a request on our request for this. This move might prompt T-Mobile's majority stakeholder Deutsche Telekom AG to vie for greater control of the company, something that it's been pursuing for the past several years. SoftBank continues to pursue investment opportunities in the U.S., having led a $40 billion investment round in OpenAI earlier this year. The company's CEO, Masayoshi-san, has earlier committed to investing $100 billion in the United States during a meeting with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago late last year. T-Mobile shares were up 1.31% on Monday, ending the day at $231. Obviously, they've sold off since this news. So this is what's going on with T-Mobile here. This is what's causing it to move. I'll be honest, with the breakdown here, the next level that I'd be looking for on the downside is probably this 210 to 200 area. This should be some pretty firm support if it continues to move back down. It's also worth noting here that this 220 area that we're at right now, a significant volume shelf on there. So we'll see if maybe this is the bottom, but this is what's causing T-Mobile to move lower here. So, Bill, what I'd like to know from you is this something that you're holding? Is this a long-term trade for you? What are you looking to do in the future with this block sale kind of being done? Are you looking to maybe add on this? You tell me how you're actually looking at this one and what you like to trade here, or how you would like to trade this name here. Excuse me. Okay, let's take a look here. We'll start with the chart. I did want to take a quick peek at NVIDIA. I actually feel like it's been several days since we've talked about NVIDIA. Remember, this is one of the things that we're looking at right now with NVIDIA. Possible head and shoulders. We actually preemptively drew this right shoulder, and the price is trading into it. Now, it's possible that this ends up breaking and this ends up invalidating this. We're actually at a pretty good spot for that. We'll see if we end up doing that here, but still watching this here on NVIDIA. NVIDIA to appear at China's top supply chain expo, despite escalating U.S.-China chip war. Beijing calls participation, quote, a vote of confidence, end quote. Let's see. Yu Jianlong, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I think I got close. Deputy Director of China's Council for the Promotion of International Trade, called the participation of over 100 U.S. and European exhibitors, quote, a vote of confidence in China's supply chain amid complex and volatile global trade landscape. And this was reported by South China Morning Post. The artificial intelligence chipmaker's Beijing appearance comes despite escalating export controls that cost NVIDIA $2.5 billion in first quarter revenue. CEO Jensen Huang recently said that the company no longer includes China in revenue forecast, stating, quote, "I'm not counting on it, but if it happens, then it will be a great bonus." This will be interesting to see how it affects NVIDIA's earnings, because if the bar is lower and then all of a sudden there's some surprise good news, maybe we actually see a big move in NVIDIA. The timing highlights mounting pressure on China's semiconductor independence. Chinese automakers, including BYD, which is the ticker BYDDY, and BYDDF, Geely Automotive Holdings, and Li Auto, ticker LI, are accelerating plans to eliminate foreign chips by 2027, targeting 100% domestic semiconductor supply chains. This represents a dramatic shift from Beijing's previous 25% domestic chip usage goal for this year. Major automakers currently rely heavily on NVIDIA's AI processors for autonomous driving and Qualcomm's smart cockpit solutions. Washington's export controls have blocked NVIDIA's China-specific H20 AI chip shipments, requiring special licenses. These restrictions aim to limit China's access to advanced semiconductor technologies critical for AI development and military applications. Now, we all know how great NVIDIA has been. I'm not sure that this news is really going to impact it today, but going forward, I think this will be pretty important for how NVIDIA trades, where it goes, and what the earnings prints look like. So we'll see what happens with that. Another story here. I don't technically consider this a victory lap, but I would be lying to you folks if I did not enjoy this thoroughly while I was reading it. Give me one second. Okay, now let me share the right screen here. This is what I've been waiting for. Jamie Dimon making the news again, called crypto a Ponzi scheme, and now JP Morgan is building JPMD in order to trade it. Life comes at you fast, and if you blink, you just might miss it. JP Morgan is taking another significant step into the digital asset sector. According to a trademark filing submitted on Sunday to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the firm is developing a new platform called JPMD. The trademark suggests the global bank is preparing to offer a suite of crypto-related services. This includes trading, exchanging, transferring, and issuing digital assets. The filing reflects a broader institutional shift in how traditional financial firms engage with the digital asset space. This move is notable given JP Morgan's CEO Jamie Dimon's historically critical stance on cryptocurrencies, referring to them in 2022 as, quote, decentralized Ponzi schemes. How about that? How's that working out for you, Jamie? I know he's rich, he's successful, he's a top CEO out there, and even they make some wrong calls. And yet, the 69-year-old CEO confirmed last month that the bank now permits clients to gain exposure to Bitcoin, an asset he once called, quote, worthless. Day trader, welcome to Web3, Jamie. We'll just leave this comment up here just so it marinates a little bit. What do you think about that? JP Morgan also allows Bitcoin ETFs as collateral for certain consumer loans and is reportedly engaging in conversation with other banks about launching a regulated stablecoin. It was interesting. CNBC had a gentleman on this morning talking about how bullish he is on stablecoins and how it's actually going to be stablecoins that allow for the transfer of money using the Bitcoin protocol. And he thinks that this is predominantly how people are going to be able to transfer money without having to deal with great volatility in some of the traditional Bitcoin asset prices. I found it fascinating. I'd actually like to look into that a little bit more. But nonetheless, here. JP Morgan also allows Bitcoin ETFs as collateral for certain customer loans. That's what I would just read there. Sorry. It's a private blockchain-based payment network, Knixis. I'm pronouncing this wrong, aren't I? Handles over 2 billion in transactions daily, showing that the infrastructure to support JPMD is likely already in place. So here you go. This is I mean, without a doubt, one of crypto's biggest bears looks like he's folding his hand. Now, maybe he personally doesn't believe in this, and that's fine. If the institution that he leads is going to participate in this, that's a big L for you. And that's pretty much where it is. Wait until Bitcoin can be used as collateral for margin. Oh, he's not going to like that, is he? He is not going to like that. Anyway, we'll see where all of this goes. And then let's see. We're still waiting on that data, right? That should be coming out here pretty soon. It looks like it's out. All right, let's check in on it. U.S. retail sales month over month for May, minus 0.9 versus the minus 0.5 estimate. U.S. export prices month over month for May, minus 0.9 versus the minus 0.1 estimate. And U.S. core retail sales month over month for May, minus 0.3 versus the 0.2 estimate. Oh, it does look like retail sales are coming in here. I would imagine that would continue. And if so, that would also tamper a potential inflation rise. We'll see how this all shakes out. At market here, as expected, not really responding to this data print. I guess technically it's ticking a little bit lower, but to be quite honest with you, SPY here still trading at 600 and doing its best to hold on to that here. So looks like very little reaction, if any at all, on the market here for SPY. Okay, let's see. We are still waiting on Adam. Let's see. I've got one more, I think. NVIDIA, SoftBank, NVIDIA. Yeah. One more here, and this has to do with robotics. I will say, just before we kind of dive into this story, robotics, the more and more I think about this and the more and more I see with what's going on with AI and manufacturing and all of that. We've had a lot of discussions here about robotics, seen a lot of stuff coming out of Tesla and all of that about robotics. I'm starting to think that this is going to be a hugely tradable sector. It's going to dovetail nicely with AI. It's going to be one of the offshoots of AI. Cybersecurity is also going to behave similarly. It's going to be an offshoot of AI. It's going to dovetail with AI. I don't really have any good robotic positions, or I should say positions in robotics companies. This is definitely something that I'm going to look out after, but I'm going to do this slowly. I'm not going to jump in too early. I'm worried that if I am too early to this, it's going to be tough to hold long term. And I got some other stuff I want to deal with first. But this is definitely something that's on the back burner. It's definitely something that I'm interested in. And I would be unsurprised if we continue to talk about this stuff more. NVIDIA and Samsung are investing a combined $35 million into Skilled AI, a general purpose robotics intelligence startup that's rapidly gaining investor confidence. The Series B funding round, which valued Skilled AI at approximately $4.5 billion, is led by a $100 million investment from Japan's SoftBank Group. We just talked about SoftBank a little bit. Samsung has committed $10 million to the round, using the investment to keep strategic visibility into Skilled's technology and talent pipeline without committing to full-scale acquisition. According to Bloomberg, NVIDIA is contributing $25 million, reinforcing its growing push into what CEO Jensen Huang describes as the physical AI revolution. The round follows Skid's $300 million Series A raise in July of 2024, in which Skilled AI says included backing from Lightspeed Ventures, Cotu, SoftBank, and Amazon. Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, through Bezos Expeditions. Skilled AI is developing shared foundation model that acts as a general purpose brain for a wide range of robots across manipulation, locomotion, and navigation tasks. The startup notes that this model represents a step change in how robotic systems will scale, with long-term ambitions to build artificial general intelligence grounded in the physical world. Skilled AI positions its technology as a scalable solution to U.S. labor shortage, particularly in high industries like oil rigs and manufacturing. A study by Deloitte and the Manufacturing Institute projects that over 2.1 million U.S. manufacturing jobs could go unfulfilled unfilled, by 2030. And the startup believes its adaptable foundation model could help rebalance labor across sectors. Okay. So I'm definitely interested in this. I want to see how this shakes out. I think that we've got plenty of time on this, but just letting you folks know this is definitely something that I'm going to be following here, and I'll let you know if I come up with anything. Dreamer, good morning. Angelica, good morning. Honey Badger, good morning. Serve is something, so you want to that's on the robotic angle. Serve has been one of the day traders that we've talked about. You could actually throw an RR there as well. Rich Tech Robotics. We've done some of that as well. Okay. And Bill wants to take a look at Verve. Let me add that to the list. Okay, sweet. It's guest time, though, right now. It is absolutely guest time. Let me go back to Benzinga Pro here real quick. We'll get the chart up. And let's go ahead and welcome our guest. It's a T3 Tuesday, so we're going to bring on Adam Mesh. Adam, good morning. Happy Tuesday, my man. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm optimistically excited. I guess that's the word. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm doing really good, man. We got a truncated week here today. You know that I've got a lot of golf already lined up for the weekend, so hard for me to be in a bad mood here today. I will say, not that you care, but I will say one thing that would really make my day here is if Edmonton can get a win and extend the Stanley Cup Finals. My favorite sport. I love watching it, and I don't want it to end.
Playoff hockey is the best. Enjoy.
It's the best. It's the absolute best. Question is, how are you? What's new in your world?
Market's been good. I mean, last week, was it last week? It seems everything, so much happened so fast. But I was up in the morning and I had to go to an event for a friend. And I came home and my whole day was gone. And it was because the president and Elon Musk were feuding. And every tweet back and forth was causing action. It was moving Uber up. It was moving other satellites up. And then it was gone in a day. Everything was fixed. But then now we have another war. So just trying to keep up with the events and realize that, and the market doesn't react to any of it for more than a day.
I'll tell you, man, I was saying at the beginning here, the news cycle never sleeps. And if you blink, you might miss something. You're right. We moved on from a spat to a new war here. And the market throughout all of this has remained resilient. I mean, hell, we're looking at the SPY here. We're still less than 3% from all-time highs. We're really just kind of traded sideways. We haven't broke down on any of this news yet. So what are you doing in order to trade this wildness?
So the positions I'm in are a little less affected by them. So okay. I found my kind of little core group of stuff that's moving around. I'm not in as much of the big names for my personal trading right now. Continue to collect premium. I'm in MVST. It's a battery stock, Microvast.
Okay.
It's just something that like I promised myself I wouldn't sell because all the numbers look good. And at one point I did because it got down to $1.27. And I was like, all right, I'm done looking at this. But then it got me back in, and now it just keeps hitting new highs. It's going to open at another new high today. So just keeping an eye on it. And that's something that moves in its own world. Thing about this, though, is I'll tell you, it's a $4 stock that could have like 50-cent down moves in a second. So I'm
pretty sure we've actually seen this moving around recently off the scanner. Someone might have traded this one yesterday, short term. Remind me if you're here. I feel like this one came up yesterday. Nice little move right up out of the gate. So you think this has got some more legs here, MVS?
Yeah, it's acting like it's going to make a nice pop. So I'm trying to make sure that I stay in it, despite the fact that it moves around a lot for a little stock. Yeah, I'm in that Core Z still has been good to me. I've been talking about that for a while with everybody, so that's been good. Bido, I keep collecting my dividends in once a month. You know which ones? Want another one? Because I know, listen, like we could always talk about the bigger names, but I like to talk about the stuff for individually that could be exciting. This one's speculative and this is cheap, but 3D has come to life the last couple of days. It's probably in my Mesh Prime service. This is my only loser in the last couple of months. So the rule is you're supposed to let your losers go. But I
Mhm.
couldn't let this go and
Uh-oh.
kind of hold on because they're getting into new stuff. I do think it's a long-term hold, but I've been
Okay,
wrong
so
about this
so
one.
3D, you mean DDD, 3D Systems,
Yeah,
right? The 3D printing
yeah.
company? Okay.
They're getting into a whole new business, the spare parts business. And they need a lot less space because they could just make it on demand. But it's a longer term play. But it just came up 30 cents over the last couple of days, so that was good because I have a lot of that.
Okay. Okay, so interesting. So EKS here from the chat, still burning cash. Is that something that you're not worried about? What are you looking at here for the next possible move? Is it news based? Is it chart based?
No, this one is more news based. I'm looking for that new spare part business to show signs of success because there's a lot of revenue they could pull in from there. So, but yes, they are burning cash, and I've been wrong on this one. So, but I'm
You know,
always honest. I'm just telling you what I
yeah,
have and I'm
no,
looking at.
and I appreciate that. I mean, I too, that's the way I like to go. I'll say this. I know that this is just anecdotal, but really quickly, one of my buddies is actually pretty talented with his 3D printer, and he has told me there's double-digit things around his house, from his lawnmower to a picture frame and everything in between, that he has fixed by literally designing, creating, and printing his own three parts on his 3D printer. He actually has several of them. He makes me a bunch of stuff that's like decorative for
Right.
the game that we play together. So I'm a big proponent of this. This spare parts angle is actually extremely interesting to me, especially if this tariff thing really kind of gets worse. We've yet to see that, but if it really gets worse and you're able to domestically print parts at home, that seems pretty good.
The thing about these stocks, I'll tell you, is they're cheap enough to be market agnostic for the most part. So when the market opens up down today, I'm not going to have a really like red all over my screen because I'm in these positions. The market itself is the bigger play, and I watch that all the time. And we're sitting right below our highs,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like we're just waiting to see if we're going to have that explosive move where we break out, um, which is crazy. But I can't see any reason why we won't. So that's the bigger play, is that we just keep falling forward and up, and I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I'm with you. It definitely feels like the market is just kind of waiting for like that all clear signal to pop to new highs. Now, if it pops to new highs, maybe runs for a few days, and then I don't know what it's going to do next, but it definitely feels like that. And we had news here this morning, I guess yesterday overnight. Trump signed the deal with the UK while he was there in Canada. We had news this morning. I think it was Thailand, Pakistan, a couple of other countries are like really, really close. Apparently, they were resubmitting proposals and things like that. So maybe we do get that catalyst here that kind of pops us to new highs. That'd be something. We've been saying here in our chat that this feels like a hated rally from the beginning of October. We feel like there are a lot of people that kind of missed out on this. Even myself, in some cases, missed out in some of these big moves.
so
But
you're saying beginning of October.
what the
rally?
rally?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying literally since we traded down 20% to
Yes.
479.
Okay. Yeah.
This rally back up is so hated. There are the worry about tariffs, the worry about Trump. Oh my God, this and that, everything's bad, war, that, and it's just the market continues to trade up. It continues to remain resilient. And I feel like there are a number of people that missed this quick and fast move in here. And if they're still off sides, if they're not ready, and all of a sudden we get some good news, I mean, I think this thing is going higher, and there are going to be people that continue to miss it.
By the way, I don't use technicals as much as I used to. I'm more shorter term momentum, but that chart does look like the market's going to explode higher.
Does it not? I mean, we come right back to where we were, and then we continue to trade sideways. It's almost like it's waiting for something.
It's like a cup and handle.
Yeah,
like a giant cup and handle.
Yeah. I got a really quick follow up. First of all, join Adam's free webinar on June 18th to get his summer's hottest trades. I'd like to hear about some of those if you have some that we haven't talked about yet. The other thing that I wanted to ask you is, are you playing any of the new IPOs? Voyager, Chime, any of the, I know we talked about CoreWeave in the past, but since then we've actually had a Circle, was one of them. Are you playing any of those IPOs? Or any of them interesting to you?
They're interesting to me. I am not playing them. I had, I'll take I don't know how far back. When did you start trading?
2014.
Oh, okay. So I started in 1998. There was an IPO called M3P. It was an M3P player. It IPO'd at 104 and it closed that day at 40.
God.
And I was still in it, and I lost $67,000. And I said, I'm never gonna go big into IPOs again, and I stuck to that. I was so many rules I break because I've been trading for so long. You eventually break them, but that one, like, I don't really trade IPOs when they first come out because of the volatility, and I got burnt so bad once that I don't know. I just don't. I waited for him to set that. CoreWeave was really good. I did short Newsmax just because I know the company very well, and it was a little bit personal. I know the owner. I used to do business with them.
That's awesome.
I used to do business with them, and I saw when I was trading over 100. I'm like, this is no way this company is worth that.
No way.
But yeah, so my rule is to avoid IPOs just based on individual experience. Same reason I don't trade oil stocks.
And that makes a lot of sense. The only reason I ask is because, CoreWeave here, we had the huge move and then it came back in and it just kind of sat there for a little bit. And then we had the real move. And the one of the recent ones here, Circle, this isn't even really waiting. This took off for 3 days, consolidated for 3 days, and again is still trading higher. I actually did take a stab myself at this Voyager one, ticker VOYG. It looks like this has bottomed here. I'm hoping, knock on wood. Hopefully, I didn't just jinx myself.
What is Voyager?
This is going to be like a defense and space conglomerate. So defense and space technology company committed to advancing and delivering transformative mission critical solutions. It operates across three primary divisions: defense, national security, space solutions, and Starlab space stations. My thought here was, well, defense is obviously in focus with a lot of the conflicts going on. The space theme has really been ripping. I mean, we've talked to, I know Redwire did an offering last night and is trading down here, but a lot of those space stocks have really been ripping. I'm extremely bullish on cybersecurity in 2025 and 2026, and this kind of seemed like a confluence there. I did talk to a couple of my buddies who said, yeah, keep an eye on this one. We might have a move in this one. So adding that to it too, but hasn't happened yet. We'll see. We'll see if we end up getting that here.
You know what's interesting? So the way my portfolio is set up that we do, it's we collect a lot of premium, we collect dividends and things, so it's easy for us to stay in them. So I'm in a bunch of stocks. We are in a bunch of stocks from before the market downturn. So when the Qs were at 405, we were still in these, but we did hedge. So I'm in a bunch of positions where we hedged in a way that if it went through our hedge, which means we sold a call against it, that we were profitable. It's just our upside is limited. So URA is a great example. It's a stock we kind of hedged and have to keep rolling back, but we were profitable, but we had sold the 30 calls and it's trading at 38. So I have like a bunch of positions where I'm kind of stuck like that, where we are profit. And I told them when we hedged, our worst case scenarios, we're just going to miss out on some of the upside because if it rallies too fast, we did. So now it's like this interesting position where if we get enough of a downturn, we'll be able to roll these options again. But if not, the trade is over. So I ended up with like 3-4 of those positions. And then since then, it's just been shorter term trading, scalping, taking advantage. But that's the base. It's just an interesting position to be in. You know which one's been good too? We bought the 8 calls and we tripled our money, doubled and tripled on some of the options. PCT just went to 13 from 8. That was a good one. So that was
interesting. So what's the deal with this? Because I don't think we've talked about this here on my show recently. What's going on with this?
This is like some kind of recycling future tech play. The reason I like it is because like investment bankers told me about it. They said it's one to watch. So the right people told me to watch it. I kept an eye on it, came all the way down. And then Mesh Prime, we bought 8 calls and we sold the first tranche for a double. Then we sold it for a triple, and then now we sold puts in it underneath it, and it just keeps going up. So it's good. I mean, it's had a good run right now, but this is one that we're trading really well.
Okay, this is a good one. I'll keep an eye on this one. I wouldn't chase this move, given the recent move that it made off the lows here. What was it,
Right.
$5-6? But awesome. Another good one we can add to the back burner. What else you got
Let
for
me
us?
ask you, just as an interesting topic, and I think for the audience too, we have Waymo. We've discussed Waymo on here together.
Oh yeah.
And Tesla, Uber, all of them are getting into that. And WeRide is another stock I've been looking at.
Yep.
How do you think this plays out?
Okay. All right. So this is an interesting one for me. So I think that this is going to continue to play out. I think that there are a lot of good stuff for driverless cars that I personally don't see at all, because I'm a big car guy. I like driving. So the autonomous car angle, I don't understand at all. Someone like my mom, who's becoming more elderly, I totally understand it. So I think this is going to proliferate. Now, as far as who's going to win this war, this is where it gets a little bit controversial. I'm going to just go with Tesla. And I understand there's the thought here that they're behind now. The CEO might be a little bit crazy and mad. There's a number of things that kind of, might make this pick a little, I don't really know. I just think they scale much faster than Waymo. I think the brand recognition is much better than Waymo. I think Tesla inevitably is going to win this battle, and they're going to be one of the bigger self-driving components here. The idea of being able to buy a Tesla and it self-drive itself to your house for delivery, I think that's pretty sweet. We'll see if that actually leads to winning this fight or more sales. My money's on Tesla. How about you?
Wait, is that a thing that you could buy it and it comes to your house?
Yes, that's literally what they're saying, that pretty soon when you buy your Tesla, when it rolls off the factory, it will drive itself to your house for delivery.
That's so cool.
That's what I'm saying. The other thing is we just had the first Tesla self-driving robo-taxi in Austin. And when we saw, I actually shared the article the morning that we saw it. When we saw pictures of it, it looks like a normal car. It's got some decals on the side that identify it as a robo-taxi, but otherwise it looks normal. Whereas the Waymo has the entire LiDAR equipment on it, looks all funny. And then, of course, those Waymo cars were getting destroyed in the LA riots. And all of that. So I don't know. To me, it just seems like it's hard for me to bet against Elon. I spent a large portion of my early trading career doing that, and I got absolutely shredded from doing that. So I learned my lesson, and at this point now, I'm going to bet on Elon.
It's interesting because with the streaming wars, I remember when there was like Netflix and Disney and all them. I guess you could say Netflix won, but it didn't feel like there was a loser. In that sense. So maybe in this case too, maybe there doesn't have to be a loser. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a technology piece that's involved in all of them where we could just trade that, like some kind of supplier. Like I want, this isn't the case, but like a micro, like the battery stock I'm in, if that's the battery they're making for all these cars or something like that, like something like that.
Well, the thought here was this was kind of like the LiDAR, right? Like LiDAR, what was the competitor? Someone's going to have to remind me, but this was part of the thought, like, well, LiDAR is going to be in all of these cars and it's going to be the predominant driving force behind the self-driving revolution. And then Elon Musk is like, well, I don't really like LiDAR as much. Waymo goes the LiDAR route. So the thing behind the thing is tough because it seems like these companies are approaching it a little bit differently. Oost. That's a good one, Webcoin. Thank you. So OUST, this is another stock that's actually been on a humongous run here recently. Has a pretty interesting chart. This also looks like it's going to scream higher despite being totally overbought. This one here, Oost is a provider of LiDAR sensors for the automotive, industrial, robotic, and smart infrastructure industries. And this moves on a regular basis. We've seen this on our scanner quite a bit. So here's one for you.
Oh, that's interesting.
OUST, yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. I got one more. I'm gonna make a big prediction because I come back here once a month. So,
yeah, let's go. I'm all for that.
All right. So you know how ASTS broke out and then never came back to Earth and just has continued. It went from 9 to 16, then 25, then 30 something. Right now it's 40. That's crazy. So different space, but I think it's similar kind of feel to me. APLD. They signed that $7 billion deal with CoreWeave. They came up from, I was in Vegas with my buddy. He's the one who told me about it when it was trading at like $5 or $6. It shot up. It went to 15. It settled around here. Just keep an eye on it. I think it's going to settle, and we're going to find this stock later in the 20s, if not higher. I think it's one that you don't want to take your eye off of. That's my like more explosive play for the next couple of months.
Okay. I like that. We're going to follow up here on APLD because this too has been one that our group has been on quite often. I feel like there's been a number of recent news drops that has caused this to trade up in the pre-market, and we have traded this a number of times. There was, mentioned with NVIDIA on APLD. This is a good one. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. We'll absolutely check back in here. APLD has actually made a pretty good move even recently.
Yeah, Brian wrote,
"Yep,
gonna go boom when they sign the next anchor tenant. I've been watching it for a month. It just kind of, it never like came all the way back down like some of those stocks do. It's holding, which I like."
Okay. Anything else that you want that you like or want to discuss here?
No, with all the things we said, market's looking to open up down this morning. So it could be a day where you just kind of stay out of the way with what you got already, because I do think it's harder for these stocks to perform against the market. You want to go with the grain, just like in golf. And I'm glad you're playing a lot of golf coming up. I played 14 slopes the other day and very hilly, and it was tough.
There's a club around me called the Glen Club, where the Corn Ferry Tour is actually going to be in a couple of weeks here. I played it for the first time last Friday, and it was absolutely tremendous. Had my first real good look at eagle and left that putt 3 inches to the left for a tap-in bird. So the hunt for the eagle continues here. Real quick here, Adam. One of our chatters here, Izzy, asking about cores. I know that this is something that you've been watching for a while. Can you just elaborate on this a little bit, just because it got brought up? I think this person joined a little bit late.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't like to go on my phone on this thing, but I got a text about it yesterday from someone with a great article. They're related to CoreWeave, so that's where it starts. And this article says the most undervalued stocks in the entire stock market globally are companies with gigawatts of secured power that started as Bitcoin miners but are about to announce large AI deals, period, full stop. And that's where you get into like a core Z. That's what they are. They started as Bitcoin miners, but now they are secured power, and it just seems to be a stock that, like, I had said 12 was its value as long as CoreWeave stays in business. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah.
I said it's a $12 stock if it stays in business. So we played it that way. It's been a stock I've traded really well. It's tough because 12 was my number. That was like what I was confident we would get to. Now we're here. We're holding. I do think it goes higher. I don't have as much as I used to, but I still have thousands of shares of it, and I'm hoping it will go higher, and I think it will.
Okay. Core's Brian here saying Core is almost identical to APLD, so I'm unsurprised that you like both of them. Day Trader here, I saw that post about Cores that Adam just read. Compelling argument considering the data center boom and the crunch on utilities. So, okay, good. So, one more question that I wanted to ask you here real quick. On Thursday, we've got the Juneteenth holiday and the markets are closed. Yeah. I've just been trying to get a feel from other active market participants. What are you doing on Friday? Are you going to be an active trader on Friday? Do you have plans? Are you going to kind of half look at the market? How are you approaching the Friday session in between the weekend and the day off?
I thought you were going to ask me what I'm doing Thursday. I was the thing I'm playing golf too.
I just assumed.
Yeah. No. I expect Friday. So as we get towards the summer months, which we're in now, okay, Fridays are typically a lower volume day. But what's going to happen, like we saw last Friday, is any kind of news can be exacerbated because the volume's less. So you just have to be careful that you get these more extreme moves when less people are standing in the way. So Summer Fridays, and we've seen this already a couple times where it starts off the day going one way, and then you see towards the end of the day, people are calling BS on the move, starts to move the other way, and then you get a reversal on Monday. So I would say tread lightly on Summer Fridays. The key, as Tom Sosnoff always says, be light. The key is not to make any big positions there. You could trade it, but just be light, because it's very easy that everything changes on Monday. So I like the idea of the positive drift, making trades, staying involved in the market, but I don't like saying, oh my God, look, Musk and Trump are spatting. I'm shorting everything I got into Tesla. Look at it. It's falling apart. And then Monday it's much higher. Right? So don't fall in love on Friday. Don't fall. You know the song Friday I'm in Love? We're going to go the opposite of that. Don't fall in love on Friday.
We're going to take the inverse of that one. No, I like that. And just because complicating that Summer Friday phenomenon that you're describing here, we have FOMC data on Wednesday and then a close on Thursday. So I'm sure people are going to be digesting that information, and they may lead into how they actually approach Friday. But if it's low volume and we get a head fake move, okay, really good stuff there. Appreciate it, Adam. Thanks Thanks for your time. Yeah.
You have 13 coming on again?
Yes, I do.
Do I get all my stock ideas now?
You get them right now. We'll do it right now. I promise you, folks. Before we get Adam out of here, join Adam for his free webinar on June 18th to get his summer's hottest trades. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about some of those right now when we talk about some of those movers.
And as always, love your audience. So active, so and obviously you do a great job and getting everyone involved. And I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Adam, and they appreciate you. We look forward to having you back. Thanks for making some bold calls. That's what we need here. Take care of yourself and go low this weekend, all right?
Bye. Thank you.
All right, take care. That is Adam Mesh from T3. Folks, this guy's been doing it for a long time, real sharp. If you need help, if you need maybe a little bit more idea or a little bit additional ideas, you want to see how some pro traders do it, check out Adam. He's really good at that, and he's gracious with our time with us, and we appreciate that. His departure, of course, leaves room for the one and only 13. Let's bring him on. 13, how you doing here today, my man?
I'm having a pretty good morning. Sorry, I didn't realize I had my microphone off. Ready to go here. Let's get this done.
Okay, I absolutely love it. 13's chomping at the bit. That tells me we're going to have a pretty darn good day here. 13, you want to just start with the movers?
Yeah, let's get into this.
Okay, what's that?
I said, yeah, let's get into this.
Let's get into this. 13, he seems spicy here today. This is
I don't know. It must have been something I put in the coffee this morning, but I'm ready to go. I had some good rest, so that must be it.
Okay. I started AG1 recently, and I feel incredible in the morning. Thank you, Costco, for carrying that so I don't have to have a stupid subscription, but we'll rant about that some other time. Okay, first stock here is going to be ACXP. This is Acruix Pharmaceuticals. Stock was a penny stock yesterday, but it's up 232% here today and is barely hanging on to dollar territory, so take this with a grain of salt. Acruix Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced publication of its phase 2, some drug I can never pronounce, study results in the Lancet. So pretty prominent medical journal there. Stock is popping here again, holding higher than 220% right now. This has, I'm not sure what that was, most recent reading of short interest here, 1.41% of the float shorted. That comes on 1.3 days to cover, and that's on 183,000 shares of volume. Good Lord, today we've traded 159 million shares. 159 million shares. 13, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, so this is going to be one of several ones we look at that look like they're going to need to raise capital.
Okay.
They all have some kind of Form S that they filed recently, so this is going to put that out there. XP, this is running on their phase 2B results I'm going to take a stab at it. Ibezapolstat. That's for C. diff. That's for C. diff, which is a bacterial infection in the intestine. So that's what that's for. Company has almost 21 million shares in the float. Looks like they have about a quarter or two left in cash, so they are going to have to raise. Did see that they had a Form S they had filed last month. I don't know if there's an expiration on that. I didn't have time to completely read through it all. Maybe I should get AI to start doing that for me. But when I look at the chart for this one, this has been on a crazy move up all morning, getting over $1. It started at what was this, like 30 cents. Now we're trading at over $1, about to lose $1 as we look at it. VWAP is going to be at 95 cents, so that's going to be one of the early areas of support we're going to want to see. And if we do lose that, then this is probably going to have a tough time as we approach the open here. And I'm just going to want to wait and see what this ends up doing as we get to the opening bell. There is the 65 EMA down at 66 cents. So if we do lose VWAP, that's one of the areas I'd be looking at next. After looks like 78 could be a support level as well. But that's what I have for ACXP. Looks to me like it's starting to weaken. So see what we end up getting closer toward the open.
Okay, 117 I think is what I have as the high print here.
I got 116. So we'll say
116. Okay. What 116, the high print there from the pre-market. We are at the moment producing what kind of looks like a bull flag. We'll see if this continues here or if we come back in. Really good breakdown there. Okay, Verve. This is one that we take a look at often. Here's Verve Therapeutics. This is ticker VERV. Verve Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Eli Lilly. Now, I think that this acquisition is done, right? This was $10.50 per share. The stock's at 11.
Yeah, because there's a little bit. If you read a little bit after the $10.50 per share, there's an additional up to an additional $3 per share based on a consideration. I didn't read too much into this one because when we start to look, we look at what's moving and it's a buyout. I completely get disinterested. Me too.
Me too. I don't think there's any other trade here. The reason that I wanted to cover this is because I feel like Verve is one of those stocks that we've traded a number of times.
Oh, we have. Yes.
And so if anyone took this home, if anyone was maybe a bag holder on this, you just got bailed out here today. With this catalyst here, this is it. This is the end of the line. If you've got gains in this, good stuff.
Yeah, and it did pop up to 13, but because I think that consideration that they're referring to ends up bringing it up to that price. Maybe a little bit higher. I think maybe 13.50. I'm not sure, but there's maybe some wiggle room if you're wanting to trade that. I personally think there's better things to trade besides that little wiggle room that you're going to get with this one.
I agree. And as Jonathan was mentioning here, this was pretty high short interest, 26.37% of the float shorted. With this news today, that trade is over. And red. So
immediately the 13, right?
Yep. Okay. Next here, SLRX. This is Solarius Pharmaceuticals. This is another previous penny stock that I know we've talked about before. This popped in the after hours yesterday, popped again here today. Shares are trading higher after the company disclosed it received an extension from the NASDAQ to regain compliance. So this theme, if you will, even if we feel like it's silly, seems to be coming back to roost here. This stock did pop almost up to 220 here today, which is insane considering it closed at around 63 cents yesterday. And it's still up 95.2% here. Now we've come back in, we've lost the VWAP. We've made multiple attempts to try to get back to the VWAP, and we've been mutumboed each time. So it really, until we get above the VWAP, they're unsure that this is going to really have any more upside move. Quick look around the horn here. Last short interest reading, 2.27% of the float shorted. That comes on 2.61 days to cover, and that comes on 376,000 shares of average volume. Today we've traded 30 million, so I don't think any of that's going to matter. Float here is 2.11 million. What do you think, 13? Do we go higher here or no on SLRX?
I'm inclined to believe that this may end up just being a fade. The recompliance extension, great for, I guess it's just buying time for the company. But when you look under the hood, it's really just not that great to me. I mean, I think one of the reasons this was moving previously that we traded on was that it didn't lose as much money in one of their last earnings reports as previous year. So I don't really know how strong this company is. I don't think it is that strong. 2.1 million shares in the float. Company does need cash, has about a quarter of it left. Another Form S that was also filed, there's another company. This one actually filed their Form S yesterday, an amended version of it. So didn't have time to go into that either because I was having trouble pulling it up, to be honest. But I would just focus on the technicals with this one. I don't remember even what this company does. But when we look at the charts here, yes, we are trying to recapture that VWAP. We're kind of going sideways right now. And I don't think that this news is that great, but we've seen things move on nothing. So it does. I don't think that matters a whole lot if people are going to just try and bid this up anyway. So let's see if they can get this back above VWAP. That would be the test for me. If we can get back above VWAP going into the open or just before the open, maybe this trade's better. But I think this may end up being one to fade.
Okay, and Solarius Pharmaceuticals is a clinical stage biopharma company focused on developing effective treatments for cancers with high unmet medical needs. So one of the things that tells me there is that you're trying moonshots, which means you're probably burning a lot of cash. Just reading between the lines there. A couple of things. Jay Rice, good morning, boys. Good morning, Jay. Ryan, good morning. Ryan says, I heard NASDAQ change the rules around how many times you can reverse split within a year. Does anyone know off the top of their head if that's the case? I don't know. Could always ask Grok.
I haven't heard that, but that's a good start. I mean, I think I'm kind of on the side that they need to consider doing reverse splits, like or putting a cap on reverse splits for a company. Just like you can do this many and that's it. I might be completely off base with that, but we got to do something about these companies that are just reverse splitting their stocks into oblivion. I think it's absolutely absurd that they can just continue to do that. And when you look backwards and see what the share price was after all these reverse splits, it's like $72 million a share after doing how many reverse splits?
Yeah. So here, let's try this. Let's see how good Grok is. Ryan, I heard NASDAQ change the rules around how many times you can reverse split within a year. Let's try this. Grok, did NASDAQ change the rules around how many times you can reverse split a stock within a year?
NASDAQ did tighten the rules on reverse splits. Now, if a company does a reverse split and their stock price drops below $1 again within a year, they face immediate delisting. No more second chances. It's to stop companies from gaming the system with repeated splits. Pretty strict, huh?
Yeah.
It is pretty strict, Grok. That's really good news. Promise me you'll have a good day, okay?
Thanks. I appreciate that. I promise I'll do my best to have a good day.
Okay.
You're not getting killed on the AI overlords take.
Not first anyway. So there you go. You let me know. I mean, look, I think when it comes with anything with AI, you should probably fact check everything. But Ryan, there's an answer for you. There you go. And honestly, again, that's a really good thing, right? If they make this so you can't game the system anymore, I think that's only beneficial for us. If it means we have less fraudulent movers in the morning, then so be it. We'll focus on stuff that's legitimate.
Did Grok happen to say when that change took place? Because if not, I'll just look at it later. I'll look for it later.
Brandy, Ryan's AI girlfriend. How pathetic would that be if that's the case? Should I, you know what? I'm not even going to go down that road. Not even going to go down
that road's closed right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep moving through some of the movers here. Next one's going to be Cero. This is CERO. Cero Therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company received FDA orphan designation for CER 1236 for the treatment of acute myeloid leukemia. So, okay, this is good data here on FDA orphan drug. This popped in the after hour yesterday, popped again here today. Stock was a double in the pre-market at the highest here. It was about $8 yesterday, went as high as 16 here today. So far, it's come back in the same deal here. It's actually lost the VWAP and really been unable to get back above that. We'll see if that changes here. Short interest, I've got nothing here on the percent of float short for the last reading on only 1 day to cover. This did come down from the prior reads there. And actually, looks like it hasn't changed much there. We just don't have a float reading. Looks like the float kind of came in a little bit too. This must have had some type of reverse or something. Let's see what we had here.
Did they had a reverse split or 1 for 20 on June 11th? Or 13th, I think. Sorry,
yep, effective as of the 13th. Absolutely, 1 for 20. So, all right, so it's still got about the same percent of float short, but there's less shares to trade now. On average, the stock trades 19,000 shares a day. That's its 100-day average. Folks, don't get trapped in this one. Be sure you're done with this. Float here, 384,000. That's a micro float, so maybe this thing can really move here. Today, we traded 8.3 million. What do you think here? CERO.
Yeah, this got a low float, 384,000 shares is what I was seeing. I'm sure if it's under 500,000 shares, you're probably getting a good enough read. So this is another recompliance play. They do need cash. I didn't see any Form S's filed, but wouldn't be surprised if later on they ended up doing that, because this company does need to raise capital somehow. Fortunately, the news today for this one is that it got FDA orphan drug designation. That's a designation that a company will get if they are pursuing treatment for a rare type of drug that affects generally less than 200,000 people. It comes with special benefits to help move along their compliance. So that's what the orphan drug designation means. Nice thing to have, but if they don't have if the company can't maintain its finances, it's kind of all for nothing. So there you are. You have those are the several ones that I looked at today. They all need cash. They all are going through some kind of NASDAQ recompliance. So hey, the recompliance play apparently is still strong. So maybe if this, I'd have to look and see when these are all supposed to have their compliance due by, because that could be another catalyst that we see in the future. But for today, regarding Cerro, again, another one that's beneath its VWAP, looking for some support at about, I'd say, $10. That would be a good support area. If we lose that level, then it looks like 9 could also be another support area. That would be the two I'd be looking at if we can reverse here, but we are trending down into the open here. So we'll see if we end up getting any kind of reversal. We did trade this one previously. I have levels going up to 28. So we'll see if we end up getting a turnaround here and being able to recapture VWAP. For now, we are just fading.
Okay, and Smoke Tuna saying Zero with the 80% bullseye tuna AI score, tuna signal AI score. I believe this will run. There you go. Getting a call before the move, Tuna. I love this. Let's see if this ends up running here. Yeah.
And let me ask Tuna, what kind of score are we looking for here that's going to do well? Is it I don't want to say like less than 50 or higher than 50. I'm sure there's a good number that we want, a good percentage that we're looking for here. Is it like 75 or higher or 80 or higher? Help me out here. So when I see that your score, I know what I'm looking at. That's all I'm asking.
Good stuff. All right. Couple of these other ones I wanted to take a look here real quick. INEO, this popped yesterday, popped again here today. This was on nothing, no new news here. RBNE, this is one that we talked about recently. It's up here in the pre-market, but be careful with this one. Oscar, this is one that someone earlier had mentioned. This was a Tim Melvin recommendation, I think back in the 13 handle. Yeah, I don't think it was quite 12. I actually think it was 13. I think he recommended it. It went lower briefly and then higher, if I'm not mistaken. Oscar Health here looks like Sunday we got could be the next growth monster with tremendous upside. Tim was saying something similar here. I don't see any news on Oscar. This stock is up almost 7% here in the pre-market. One area to take a look at here, 16.5. This was really where it struggled yesterday. Couple of other things I wanted to mention here. Apps, this reported earnings, so it's trading higher here on earnings. Indo, let's see if we can not have a move here so I don't think about Snoop Dogg's gin and juice all morning here. And then there were a couple of other stocks, the penny stock that you guys were talking about. Where is that ticker? PCSA? Yeah.
Regarding RBNE, what was the thought here? Because this one has an offering on the table that we could probably, if we wanted to try and trade it after they execute it, we could. I mean, it's at 525. I just kind of spitballing here. I don't know what the plan was for this one, but I'm seeing that they just filed this yesterday, and they're still talking about it today. So I'm wondering if this is going to end up happening today. And then after that, do we have like a better opportunity to trade this? Is kind of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, to me, I would wait till the offering is out of the way. As day trader is saying here, that offering is at 525. It's trading at 670 here. Right. Interesting. This is interesting, day trader. I don't have this one. I have a fib for RBNE at 523. So pretty much right where that offering price is at. That's interesting. Maybe this is a safe trader after the offering here.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. Now remember what sent this going on Friday? Nothing. It just
they didn't have earnings or anything.
No, I don't see anything in here. The why is it alongside oil. Oh, it was just on the oil market disrupt. So this is just on the conflict in the Middle East. The
Why
move
did
in
this
oil.
not show up for us yesterday?
What?
Why did this not show up for us yesterday then?
What do you mean show up for us to do what?
The trade.
It did.
Oh, it did?
Well, okay. So let me be clear. This was on the movers to the downside list yesterday.
Gotcha. Okay.
This popped very briefly in the pre-market, and I'm talking early. By the time we got on here, this thing had already gone red and then went more red and then basically stayed lower and drifted lower in the regular session. Now, today, maybe it's popping here, but it looks like there were others that were well aware of the offering that was coming here and just kind of got out of the way.
All right, so that'll be one that we can look at later for a trade after they do their offering. Okay,
now really quickly here, PCSA. This is a penny stock. Yes, I normally don't cover them, but it looks like half of you folks are already looking at this one here today. This is Process Pharmaceutical. Shares are trading higher after the company signed a binding term sheet granting Intact Therapeutics an exclusive option to license one of its drugs here.
Gastroparesis.
Yeah, so... Okay, so this is popping here. I'm still going to stay away from penny stocks, but this is what's going on here. Quick couple of stats on this. 6.63% of the float shorted. That's 11 million float. 1 day to cover. Looks like we still have 11 million float. We trade on average 4.5 million shares. Today we've traded 73. So penny stock here. Good luck if you do it. I'm going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, they've also filed to sell 20.59 million shares of common stock and warrants. They filed that on Friday. So
okay, our cat getting slaughtered literally as we speak here. Our cat announces 46.75 million registered direct offering of 6.45 million shares of common stock. So our cat offering here, this down 10%. This had kind of had a decent move yesterday. See if our cat craters here, if it finds the bottom, but yikes, that's tough. Hopefully none of you guys got hit on that one. Okay, BBAI is pumping. Take a look at that. Indeed, this had a big run yesterday. And this is like, okay, so level here today, 415. Right, we break maybe even 414, 414, and we break this 414 to the upside. We might have some more room here on BBAI. The next level after that, I would probably put at 430 and then maybe 442, 444. There's a number of levels here if BBAI gets going. This is one I'm almost certain we'll come back to here today.
Sorry, I was just reading the...
You're good, dude. You're totally good.
The PR here about how they are they're deployed enhanced passenger processing biometric technology at major ports of entry. So you got Charlotte Douglas International, Chicago International, Dallas Fort Worth, John F. Kennedy, lots of big names. Port of Seattle. So we remember how we were doing the same thing with SoundHound. We found out they're in actual things that we use. BBAI is starting to look that way too. High short interest as well, but I don't think the days to cover is very large now. It's just one. But that short interest, 29%. Get moving if it catches a good PR like this one.
Here's the one thing. Whoop. We'll see though. I mean, this is pretty extended.
I know. Maybe if it's a giraffe, but I don't know.
All right. Anyway, BBAI, one to watch here. Still haven't talked to my guys in the know, if you will, on BBAI. I'll let you know if that changes here. You guys are saying Run has big volume. Remember, Solar getting smoked here this morning. Sunrun shares trading lower following GLJ Research downgraded the stock from hold to sell. Okay, interesting. So this actually got more downgrades here. Looks like KeyBank doing the same thing.
Cut in half almost.
Senate draft tax language quite negative for residential solar. So the entire sector here is under pressure. EMPH, this is actually, this is down 22% here. This also got a move down here from KeyBank.
So, okay, so that's kind of been the thing I've been seeing here with what the Senate version of the Big Beautiful Bills is supposed to be. So maybe we should kind of be looking at some things that benefit from credits. I mean, I'd imagine Tesla would be getting hit by this in some capacity, but that has to do with I don't know how that whole credit thing works. I thought that was like a California-based credit system, but I think there was also federal credits too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we need to look at some companies that are heavy into the federal credits for shorts.
Okay. Well, all of these solar names got hit here today. SEDG, this is another one. All these charts look the same.
FSLR too. 22%. Yeah.
Jay, what would we have covered earlier? Huge move down here, sector wide. Okay, what else do you folks want to take a look at here? Google was one of them. We got 5 minutes here. We could start with Google if you want. GOOG. We already took a look at Oscar. Google here. What I love is that we've backtested this 200. To me, it looks like the next move here for Google is 200.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think this. If the market, long as the market holds together here, I think Google probably makes a run at 200. Now, will it get it? Not sure, but do feel like this one's going to go higher here.
Yeah, I got several levels in the way, but it seems like I'm in it, so I'd love for Google to go to 200 and higher. But it looks like we are trying to put in a bit of a longer term head and shoulders here. So we'll see if it can get beyond 192, because that would be where the left shoulder kind of peaked out at. We'll see what we end up getting with Google here. But
I see what you mean. What you mean. Maybe this.
Yeah.
This out of the way. This and then this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see if what it can do when it gets up to 190. Which you're saying 200. I'm saying 190 looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah. So I mean 190, 200. If it goes there from here, this is actually a pretty decent swing anyway. So okay. That's Google. Serve and Verve. Serve, this obviously in the robotic theme here. This doing its absolute best to stay above the 200. I know it's down a little bit here. That might just kind of be with the market. By the way, S&P here actually higher than when we first started as well. So this is continuing to trade higher here. Didn't really move on that retail sales number. Maybe it drifted a little bit lower and it's kind of back to balance here.
Serve has a problem with the $13 handle. You can draw just a horizontal line at 13 and look to the left. I think it'll illustrate why I believe that. So once it gets back up to 13, you're going to want to see some better volume, because it's historically had a hard time with that level. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Added right here. That's at the top end of the volume shelves too. The other one here was Verve. This is Verve Therapeutics. They're trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Eli. We already took a look at this one. Sorry. Let me move this off the list. I wrote that on my list. My bad. No trade here on Verve. Okay. We got 3 minutes till we open here. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace. We can take a look at whatever you want in the meantime. So I'm ready to go here though, honestly.
Yeah.
Ari Stock Market, sorry, 13. Ari Stock Market, as far as robotics go, mentioning SYM. You know what? I should have mentioned this earlier when we were having a discussion about robotics. I'm sorry. You might have even said something. I might have just missed it. This is actually a pretty good one here. And also, this chart actually doesn't look terrible at all. Number one, it does look like this $20 bottom is some pretty good support that we can lean on going forward. It also looks like it really just broke this downtrend here. You want to extend this back. I'm not going to fight you on that either. Does look like it's kind of broke a downtrend. So maybe SYM, good play here if robotics catches on as a theme. This is a good mention, Ari Stock.
RGC.
That was the other one I think we wanted to cover, right? Is that still moving?
It just got support from the 200 EMA about 20 minutes ago. It's turned around. It's got pretty big move here that's happening relative to what it's been doing this morning, right up to near the VWAP. I think it's worth keeping an eye on this one. This one was a halt fest yesterday. Yeah,
it sure was. And this recently did a split. This was a previous runner that run several $100s and came back in. Now and then it did a split, so it should trade a little bit better. But still, halt fest yesterday, higher here again. This is one I don't feel comfortable holding, but if you guys did, congratulations, because this is a big winner.
Yeah.
We're about to open here.
Yeah, curious to see what this does out of the gate, if it can pop above VWAP or not. And that's about where we're coming up to is the VWAP. Seasonality effect on KHC.
So are we getting to a Kraft Heinz? Is that what? Is that K?
I think we talked about this one yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We talked about ketchup. We went into food again.
Oh God, we had that whole conversation. That's right. I think I said that KHC looks like it could continue lower. I wrote something down on that. I'll double check my notes. Anyway, let's open.
All right, boom. There we go. Let's see how we do here today. Good luck, everybody. You got another day set to go here.
All right. So out of the gate, we have ACXP losing $1. SLRX still trying to recapture that VWAP. Cero is holding, what is this, 1045, 1040? Holding at that level. That seems to be a bit of a support level this morning for Cero, but volume isn't great yet. RBNE popped up and then dropped. So we did get a little bit move up, but immediately met with downside.
That penny stock that you guys mentioned, this is just kind of holding right there at 60 cents.
Look and see what the
Reddit popping here. I'm not sure on what.
I don't think anybody knows why that moves. Showtime. That's right, everybody. SNES going to 4. Let me look. Super Nintendo, huh?
Which one are you looking at?
SNES. This one had.
So Izzy tweeted me about this one yesterday.
Okay. Well, they have a Form S, so be careful. It looks like they're going to do a capital raise here.
That wasn't yesterday. This was last week. I beg your pardon.
RBNE. That's starting to move now.
The news here that Izzy had tweeted me. This was a story trading tweet. This had the largest order in the company's history.
Nice. Cero
with SNES
coming back up to VWAP. RBNE moved up to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. So that's those two looking pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? Watch Cero here. This is approaching its VWAP.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, 13. I'm gonna leave Cero on screen here, but I'm gonna take a step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Okay, and then for Cero, it looks like we have some of resistance level from the pre-market this morning, around 14. It seems that there was one pop above that, but other than that, there were some smaller ones that couldn't close over it. None of those actually could close over on the 5-minute chart. So $14. That looks like a resistance area. Might be slightly earlier, but that's what it looks like. So if we do pop up to somewhere between, like, let's say 1385 and 14, there may be some resistance initially. If the volume is good enough, it'll break through it. But if it isn't, then I think we test that as resistance, and then we fall back possibly to the VWAP for support before trying to make the next move up through 14. This is looking like the VWAP. I'm sorry, the MACD is beginning to curl. I agree with Ryan. Keep your eye on CERO. This one could get going here. RBNE, this one popped up to the 200 EMA, came back off of it. Volume not the greatest. Let's see if it can take out that EMA. SLRX, that one went down to its 200 EMA and found support. Not sure if it's going to continue to get support from that. ACXP, this one is getting support from its VWAP, trying to move through the sideways consolidation area from the pre-market here. So looks like recapturing $1 is going to help lift this. 116 was the high for ACXP. We get up there, that's where we could see our earliest indication of resistance. And if it's going to go higher, it's going to take out 116. And let me see if I can find some levels for you. Looks like 125. Looks like a really good level for this to run to if we get above 116. That's ACXP. Let's mark that off. And there we go. All right. Looking, yeah, I remember that smoke tuna. Let's see. You're mentioning MP has upper candles, so be careful with that one. Will saying Joby. CRSP pops as Zach and Izzy is saying BBAI. I'm going to start at the top there. CRSP. So somebody did say that the gene editors were getting a bullish move up this morning. Was it just off of this movement, or if this had news? I don't think it does. What was the what were some catalysts we were seeing with that? Because I see that this had a nice pop up to 45.50 before it came back in. Do you think there's more to go with CRISPR? Let me know. Nice recapture of the 200-day SMA on this one. Let's see if we can get a close above that. BBAI was one of the next ones. How's that looking this morning? Okay, so we are trading higher from yesterday. Look at this on my broker. So we want to see this one get to 480 again. That was a level that I had previously. Seems like it's running into some trouble at about 440. 480 is the level I have marked off here. So we'll see if we can test those again. Not the best looking volume here with BBAI right now on a relative daily basis. But when I look at a 5-minute chart, it does look a lot better. But 437 is apparently the high that we've hit right now. What's the next one? Cooler early entry. What's this about?
All right. Sorry to leave you hanging there, 13, but I'm all right now.
No problem. My head swings both ways.
All right. What do we got going on here? Maybe
Verve helping CRISPR. Okay. Thanks, Jay. That makes sense.
Which one?
Well, I was kind of asking the chat what was driving these gene editing stocks like CRISPR, and Jay Rice is saying maybe Verve.
Okay, I did see NTLA, one of those gene editing stocks, was up here this morning by a good amount.
Yeah.
Let me see how we're still doing there in
Cero
NTLA.
is trying to move through its VWAP.
So that's so interesting. I sat back down and saw that it was getting rejected at its VWAP and picked a different stock to look at. And then as soon as I did that, it went through the VWAP. So here we go. Cero looks like 14, the next spot there.
14 is the area of resistance I'm looking at after we get through the VWAP. And RBNE dealing with that 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That's its current resistance area. ACXP, this one is trying to grind higher. Still going through some of the consolidation it was dealing with this morning. But we were looking at 116 as the high. We mentioned that earlier. And if it does get past that, we'd be looking at 125 as the next resistance area. SLRX still trying to get off of this 200 EMA support. Second visit down here did dip beneath it briefly to 105, but still hanging out above it. Just waiting to see what if Cero can end up pushing through this VWAP. And RBNE, waiting for that one to push through too. Seems like everything's just on the verge of making something big happen. BBAI coming back underneath its VWAP.
Eat it here. This is one of those gene editors that I think it was Zach McCracken was talking about here. This pushing higher here. But I'll tell you what, since we saw that initial buy indicator on this at like $1.30, this thing is now full $1.10 higher than that. That was weeks ago. This has actually been pretty good. Sarepta, SPRT. Yep, go ahead.
RBNE is trying to chew through this seller at 730. It's getting through its 200 EMA. Looking pretty good here, getting some nice movement on RBNE.
Okay, RBNE. Sarepta, this is bouncing after the huge move down yesterday. I think they had a patient die, so careful. But here's RBNE.
I think it's going to 970. That looks like to be the target to me. Maybe somewhere between 970 and between 770 and 790 looks to be the area where it could find the next resistance. Len blast off just now, says Andrew Senior TV. Finally, some movement. We were looking.
Lennar?
Yes, Lennar.
Okay.
Because they had the conference call.
Yep.
Well, they're supposed to. It's supposed to have the conference call, but their earnings. Look at how late that came out.
Yeah, we were waiting pretty much the entire happy hour for this. Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
Okay, so all right, this is it. Really, wow, RBNE, perfect. This is the what we were talking about with Felicia and that whole the housing theme that we're on. They are issuing solid guidance for new orders in Q3. So this is kind of in line with what we were talking about. RBNE halted to the upside. Yes. Good stuff here. Who says halted also? HUSA. You're right. It is halted to the upside. Nice couple of green candles out of the gate here. Wouldn't be surprised to see 14 with this one either. And it looks like ACXP is halted to the downside. So we got some halters. Let's see if with some of these halted, if we get some attention on the other movers like Cero and SLRX. SLRX still trying to come off of that 200 EMA. Cero trying to break through VWAP and go up to the $14 level where it was getting rejected in the pre-market. Other than that, looks like we have no. That's
Cero still rejected at that VWAP.
Looks like RGC is another one that's been halted after it dropped down and recaptured the 200 EMA. That must have happened pretty quick. Yes, CKS, we are getting pretty bullish. Our Happy Hour group, we're getting pretty bullish on housing later toward the end of this year, beginning of next year. You think Cero may flush? Maybe. It just depends on if it can hold. I would say if it holds $11.25, maybe $11. But if it falls through 11, then yeah, I think we're flushing. I would agree with that.
Really struggling to get above its VWAP.
Look at HUSA. This thing may end up just running back up to 1475. Wow, look at that move. This thing is getting all kinds of attention right now, it looks like. Chewy's going?
Yeah, it is. Chewy is trading here. I'm not in it yet. Again, I wanted to be, but I'm not. Chewy here popping right out of the open, right to 42.5. Here's a reminder of what we were looking at on the daily. Oh man, come on. Here's the trend line. Basically, after that earnings, we found immediate support right at that trend line. We are now actually in this gap. This gap doesn't fill till 45, almost 46. So no position here for me on Chewy. I do like this higher though.
Any thoughts on Boeing? It's funny you asked that because one of the things that I've been trying to figure out is with regard to the tankers, the air tankers that have been sent over. Israel ordered several of those back in 2022, and they were supposed to be delivered by May of this year, and they haven't yet. So I'm wondering if some of those that flew over could end up being deliveries. And if that's the case, we could see Boeing's stock rise further. I think they're getting some of that heat off of the India Air crash because I think it's starting to be revealed that it wasn't the aircraft's fault. So that's one thing that's helping turn it around. But if it turns out that some of those Pegasus aircraft that made it over there for to Israel are supposed to be deliveries, I think that could be a pretty good catalyst for Boeing.
Is there any new news on that Air India flight?
Not that I've been observing. Just that there may be some. It might have been pilot error. Cero, by the way, broke through the VWAP, making its way up to 14. We're in the 13 handle now, so looks like we might get that test. I don't know if we're going to go through or not. It's going to take some more volume than this. But really nice move there.
We're going to credit Smoke Tuna 80% score. This is moving here. Tuna gave it to us all early.
Yep. So, but it is having a hard time trying to get up to that $14 handle. But so, and then BBAI is absolutely cratering right now. Going right back to start. HUSA, Beautiful. Hit 1538. Blew through that 1475 level. It came back off of it. Excellent stuff. Hopefully somebody caught that. USEG is being watched by Izzy.
That Husa was a good move.
That was a
You're
really good
you're right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah, so RB
Still impressed with Tuna's AI list and score here. He's really getting it done.
That is really helpful. I don't know if he mentioned what percentage we want to look for, but I mean, at this stage for me, if it's 80% or higher, I'm thinking it could be good. All right, Saro, trying for that $14 handle. Looking around at these other ones, still waiting for RBNE to unhalt. BDAI is getting some support from 412.
Sorry, I'm taking care of something off screen here for work.
Handle that business. Just kind of looking through some others. Oh, so with HUSA, that was all those names that were moving. I think it was it Friday? Can't remember which day it was we saw those move, but all those that were moving that day, like HUSA, the other ones should also be moving as well. It looks like IMDO is getting the similar movement that HUSA is. Seeing 485 as a resistance level. There's some consolidation from the after hours yesterday up in that region. But if it gets through that, could go higher than, I think 515 is the level to watch for. But if it gets through that, then 535 and 560 would be the next upside targets.
Okay, Cyril halted to the upside now.
Fantastic. And it broke through that $14 level. Beautiful. All right, so now that we've done that, and if once we unhalt, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up popping up towards that 1661 high and then retraced. That could certainly be something that could happen.
That sounds to me like that might be an opportunity to sell into that move higher.
Yeah, and it could go
indeed what it does.
And it could go higher than 1661. It certainly could do that. It could go all the way up to 20. But I don't want to, I don't want to say it's going to do this, it's going to do that. I'm just saying what the possibilities are. And out of this halt, given the bullishness of this move it's having, I'd say that at the very least it should pop up to 1661 or try and test that area.
S&P futures here actually continuing to trade up a little bit. SPY's only down almost 4/10 here. NASDAQ, however, pulled pretty nasty. It's bouncing right now. Apple got pulled, Tesla got pulled, MBIS, I know, which we have talked about, that actually lost 50 and got pulled. Amazon, by the way, is going higher here. Izzy, I know, didn't you scalp this one yesterday? It's had a nice little pullback right out of the open yesterday. That was a pretty decent buy as this continued to move higher. Now it actually looks like we might try to take out 217. Spot to watch here, AMZN. Nice job. I knew you did, Izzy. As soon as I saw this move, and I was like, yeah, Izzy's got to be trading this one.
I gotta wonder if HUSA continues to grind higher. I mean, like on Friday, it got up to 1974. We have another high from earlier this year in January of $32. So kind of wondering if we're starting to see a bit of a recovery happening in here, and some of these EMAs might be telling us that that's what we're seeing. So we'll see if we end up getting some more upside with HUSA. Gold drop. Well, it kind of went on a run, didn't it? Who knew making books would be profitable today? I must have missed what you were saying, Wisdom. But, books can still be great.
Books are fantastic.
All right, so I don't know when we're going to get this unhalt of RBNE, but I'd imagine it's going to be soon. When did this? Do you have a time on when that halted? I know I can look it up, but I was wondering if you had it in front of you.
What?
Never mind, I'll look it up. Just when the time when RBNE halted.
RBNE, yes, I do. 939, 40, and 40. So 939.40. So This should be unhalting here any minute if it's a 10-minute halt.
Yeah.
Yep, 15 seconds until this unhalts.
All right, and then fireworks, I guess. That was a nice couple of trades out of the gate there.
RB&E unhalted exactly at the time I predicted. Bang.
And higher.
Coming back in, though.
879 is the current high. And if it comes back in, I think we might see it get support around 790 to 8 if it does. Nope. Higher it goes.
Chewy pulled off that high that it made right out of the open. By the way, Circle, I just noticed here, CRCL, some calls were trading on Circle here. This is trying to take out yesterday's intraday high. Also notice that Voyager, VOYG, this did get its option chain today.
So now that the RB&E is unhalted, I think Cerro doesn't have a whole lot longer to go before that unhalts as well.
That was at 9:46:30. So if that's a 10-minute halt, it's got 6 more minutes. If it was a 5-minute halt, it's got a minute left.
Yeah,
under a minute.
I think it might be a 5-minute halt. We'll see. If it goes beyond 5 minutes, then it's likely a 10. But I thought this one, being the first halt that it had, should be a 5-minute.
Lion here is saying, I'm buying more gold. I just can't get enough. It's just like weed. Lion, promise me you don't try to smoke your gold, though. That's all I need you to promise. Just don't try. Just don't try to smoke the gold. XTIA, this is a mention here from Izzy. This is trading up right at its VWAP, so we might have a move through the VWAP here. If we do, I'm going to think 419, 420. Oh, good Lord, wisdom, weed. Lion Atlas, 420 might be an area here if this does get through the VWAP. So far, rejected, however.
Really does change your perception on gold nuggets when you combine the two, doesn't it?
Acapulco gold. Oh, good morning, folks. This is great. I'm glad everyone has the laughs going here today. Verve, by the way, which we just talked about, seeing these are calls being closed. Interesting. This was somebody that knew something. These were the 5 calls being closed at a massive gain there. What did I miss?
Jane Smith.
What did Jane say? When you get old, you use weed for entirely purposes.
Different purpose. I think she means entirely different purposes than when you were young.
Than when you were young, yeah. Like, you mean going to bed? Or arthritis pain or something like that? Totally get it. SLRX, this is really going to need to show some type of turning around. This one might just kind of be lame here. RBNE, this did come back up to 9.9, still the high level that we need to get through.
That was fun. That was a good move. HUSA is still holding above its VWAP, but some of these are starting to look a little weak here. Still waiting for Cerro to unhalt. Looks like that is going to be a 10-minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with SLRX. We need to get off of this 200 EMA.
Yeah, that's looking really weak. Apps Digital Turbine, this making a extended move after its earnings yesterday. So it had better than expected Q4 EPS results.
EOSE is up, says Jahan.
Oh wow, two price target raises, 2 for apps here. That's helping this. This plus 42% after earnings. Yowzers.
Okay, so this one closed an offering yesterday, it looks like.
This is EOSE you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Is that short interest correct? 87% of the float shorted, 3.7 days to cover. Wow. Owen Wilson, wow.
So
let's see a recapture of the 20-day SMA. Let's start there with EOSE. And then we'll talk about the 50, but that 50 looks like that needs to be taken out as well. But first, let's deal with this 20.
I think this short interest might be more closer to 42%. It looks like we had a split in there,
Oh,
but it doesn't matter really because it is still a very, very highly shorted stock.
Oh yeah.
83 million in the float though.
You know, those folks that were laughing at Sky Quarry yesterday, it's not doing too bad.
No.
It's still about where it was when it closed yesterday. Let's see here. What else we look at? How are we doing with some of these? RBNE still kind of hanging out above, beneath 9, but above VWAP. The market seems to be on pause for a bit here. Anything that's not going sideways, folks? MVST, Godfather likes this one over EOSE. Let's talk about
Becca, blast from the past. What's going on? Showed up just as we were talking about weed. That's interesting.
I know it's like a bat signal for people.
It is. It's crazy how it works like that, but we'll take it.
You know what? If there's going to be one thing that brings this nation together, it's not going to be blue. It's not going to be red. It's going to be green.
I like what you did there, 13. XTIA, by the way, this did get through the VWAP, and actually we're holding here.
Man, how many reverse splits did this go through? All right, so
one. XTIA?
Are you serious? Just one?
I have January 10th of this year, a 1 for 250.
Oh, okay, that's why. Because I was looking at the price when it was, I guess, IPO'd, and it's like it hit a high of like 1,600. Don't think it was ever that price. All right, so one nice thing that I can draw from XTIA is that it's getting support from the 20-day SMA. So that's good. But $5 does look like the level to get through here. All right, Cerro is open and going higher.
Okay, sorry, I'm handling something. I'll be right back.
Worries. No
be
worries.
Right back.
It's still trying to get up to the 1661. The high out of the open or out of the halt here is 1599. RBNE is still hanging out up there above VWAP. Yeah, some of these are just consolidating right now.
Cerro is continuing to go. This is a winner directly from Tuna. Remember, Cerro popped back up to the VWAP, battled a little bit there, then broke and went higher. This is what we're seeing in XTAI, the exact same thing. I know it's a different type of stock in a different sector. This went right to the VWAP, stopped there a little bit. Now it's breaking higher. I've got 420. What the hell? I've got 420 as the next level here on XTIA 469. You can't even make this up. And 469 is the next level. I mean, get out of here with this. This is crazy.
This market is Las Vegas, isn't it? By the way,
that was a monster call, Izzy. That was really good.
The SCNS that you were not you, Ryan, but somebody else is bringing up. Izzy. It has been a beast since 3. That was a big resistance level that it broke out of. I mean, if you draw a line at 3 and look to the left, that was suppressing upward price action for a while. Since last year, it looks like.
$4. 3 even?
Yeah.
Yeah, right in here. Okay, I got you. Let me add that here real quick.
Yeah, but right now we're beelining it for $4. I think $4 is going to be the next big resistance area to get through. It might slow down a little bit earlier than that in the 380s. But I think $4 test is coming. It's just getting really extended here after this move over 3. All right, so it looks like RBNE finally fell through its VWAP. So maybe some of these that have been consolidating are starting to fall down. That's okay.
Jay mentioning Nat Guess here, CRK. Let me just look at a couple of these. This is Comstock. This is a nice move here. This is Jerry Jones's company, right? Comstock, CRK.
Daniel, this was in pre-market when both Ryan and I shortly were on at the same time. He was giving us these percentages. We'll have to, you know what, Smoke Tuna, if you're okay with it, maybe that's something that we make sure we recap before we have the opening bell.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. If it's helpful for anyone, we're happy to do it here.
So, Crow, you're looking for 20 in Cerro, huh? All right. I mean, that's a level I have marked off, so I'm not going to say it couldn't happen. I mean, some of these levels have really worked that I draw from when I've drawn from the past. But yeah, $20 is the next target I have here after we broke through this 1383 one.
You shared a link. Where did you share a link? That I don't know where it is. Ryan, did you take that Lily Butterfly? No, didn't get filled on the Lily Butterfly. Did take a handful of shares, really not many. When we first talked about that, I basically followed one of the gentlemen in Happy Hour into a trade based on seasonality and technical support. But I did not take the butterfly. I never got filled. I put that order out there one day and never got filled on that fly. I think I was trying to go too cheap for it, if I'm being honest. I just tried too low of a price and didn't get filled. By the way, we do have Anne-Marie today. So if there are other potential trades that you want to outline here, we want to take a look at, let me know what those tickers are. I can give them to her now. So you just let me know. Onda's coming back a little bit off that initial pull. You know, that happened with the rest of tech. Tech's been coming back here. Apple's on its way back. Palo Alto went higher. NBIS is almost on its way back, or almost all the way back.
AMD continues to grind higher. Next big resistance area for me in AMD is going to be 133.
I'll tell you what, that trade desk trade, that one was a bummer. I'm going to probably take a complete loss on that.
No, Smoke Tuna, I understand that. I'm just, kind of saying that if since these are kind of becoming a pretty popular thing among this group, before we have the opening bell, if we could recap some of those that have these high percentages, that'd be an awesome addition. Just, if you're fine with that. SNES, boom. Did it do something? It do the thing? Let's see what we got here.
SNES, I'm not even getting on my scanner. This is continuing to break out of that formation there on SNES.
Continue to go higher. Yep. Let me see here. I thought I had some levels for that. No, maybe I don't. Good stuff, though. ARM had crap earnings and got bought. I think because of that architecture, it's just getting more and more popular. So even if they don't have good earnings, it's still kind of being, it's still the most popular standard, I think.
When was this that you're referring to? When was that last earnings print?
Their last earnings was
here, May 7th.
Well, I think yes, I have the 6th, but it's probably the result from that is on the 7th.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is the 7th. You're right. It was.
Reddit pulled off that impulse move out of the open. What happened here on the new AI tools? That's right. We talked about that.
The revenue growth compared to the last is pretty good quarter over quarter for ARM. So that could be another factor. Even though it was didn't have that big beat on the expectations, it's still a pretty good growth. ARM moves with MU. Cerro getting hammered here. Maybe 20 is not coming until later.
Here, let me go back to that. Sorry. Oscar, by the way, watch 1650 on OSCR. Someone asked about that. I can't remember who asked about that one, but that Tim Melvin pick is working.
HUSA, this just looks like it's trying to go higher. Like it's going to break out.
Cerro, nasty pull right there.
Yeah, HUSA's got a bit of a bullpen here.
Producer, maybe we can start a poll for this next question. Producer, did we get the result? Did you do that poll earlier? The troll poll?
The troll poll. What?
There was one earlier. I thought the suggestion here it was God, I can't even remember now. I'm sorry. There was a anyway, producer, let me know. Do we have a poll going and do we want a new one? This one based off of a news story here.
Can you mention that AVAV
Oh no, we didn't do
rising?
the troll poll. No one wants a Trump phone. That's true. Say that one more time, 13.
We're getting a mention from Andrew Senior TV that AVAV is rising. This is another big drone maker.
Yeah, that is best in breed for drones.
Yeah.
AVAV. Maybe this carries the rest of. How's RCAT doing after that offering? Did that get bought at all? No. In fact, that took another leg lower on RCAT. Okay, producer. So real quick here, there's a news story here. This comes from a Chris Ketchy article. Shout out to Chris Ketchy. This is actually a pretty good idea. Really quickly here, this is a proposal. Trump proposal wants to give babies to get $1,000 to invest at birth. Now, this is a really interesting idea here, especially if those funds can't be touched. But we're thinking here, Trump's plans for $1,000 investment accounts for parents and newborns could give them a head start on investing. I personally love this idea. But the question here is, which Magnificent Seven stock would you invest in for the best 18-year return? No, Cero's not a Mag 7 stock.
No, I'm saying there goes Cero.
Oh, I see. Okay, so producer, I don't know if we can have 7 different options on here. We'll probably have to whittle this down. I would imagine NVIDIA, Apple, Alphabet, Meta, or maybe Amazon. I don't know. All of these are pretty good. Figure out how we can do this, though. But let's come up with a poll. What Mag 7 would you buy if you got $1,000 for a newborn?
Oh, that's easy for me.
What is it?
Microsoft.
Microsoft. Okay, perfect.
Easy answer.
Webcoin chose Mullen, so that kid is screwed.
But you said which Mag 7, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he said Mullen, so he ended up.
Okay.
That's I'm trying to get a laugh. Come on, you're too serious for me. All right,
No, I'm not.
We're limited to 4 choices. So how are we going to do this? What do you think the best way to do this is? Think about that, producer. That might be a decent poll question if we can figure out a good thing. I knew, Izzy, I knew you were going to say Amazon. I knew it before you said it. By the way, that penny stock that you guys talked about, new highs here.
Yeah, it looks like Michael agrees Microsoft would best be long term. Amazon's not a bad idea either. I think a lot of the Mag 7 would be good, but I think for me it'd have to be Microsoft.
Okay, yeah. So this is really interesting. You guys are really kind of taking the thought experiment and taking it a step further, which I actually like even more. Wisdom here suggesting hymns, which I'm not sure if that's a joke or not. Shanir, this is a good call. I would want to buy at least one ETF also. I love the thought of diversification here. Isn't there a Mag 7 ETF?
I think there is, but if there was going to be an ETF that I would want to get for a long term that kind of encompasses the strongest stocks of the market, it'd probably be either VOO or JQUA. I think I would go.
VOO
with those.
is that Vanguard fund, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
YMAG, Title Trust, Yield Max Magnificent 7 Fund of Option Income.
Hey, we got 420 viewers. Honey Badger, spark it up.
Okay. Mags, I think, is another one. Magnificent 7. This is, you know what? This is a better one. Sorry, Crow. Mags, this is a direct proxy here for the Mag 7 ETF. That's not a bad one.
That offering from Redwire was a buying opportunity. This thing is now back over 1750.
So that offering got bought there on RDW.
I imagined it would be. This stock. This company, we talked about it being the picks and shovels. They just acquired another company that made it go from picks and shovels to guns and ammo, basically. Like, this thing is going to be a defense name. because of the company they just acquired. Now, of course, they do need cash. That's okay. I don't think they're in any trouble, but I think they just needed to raise capital. But I believe in this company. It's one of my favorite ones for the space theme. I was buying into this this offering. So
yeah, where does that money go when heaven forbid the child passes on? That's a good that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think at this point we're just trying to figure out which is going to be the best pick.
Yeah, all the other nuances are, stuff that gets handled behind the scenes or with your broker or your lawyer or whoever is going to be managing that. Usually there's like a provision about what happens should the beneficiary pass on, who it goes to then. All right, Sparrow.
I like what you did here. Producer. One of the Mag 7 stocks in ETF or another stock. This is pretty good because we only had 4 choices. I like that, producer. Well done.
Sparrow just hit what is this? 1655, just on the doorstep of the pre-market high. If it does blast through it, looks like 20's on the docket. Rocket Lab is moving. That's right.
Here's the article in case you wanted to go with that. It looks like there was a poll conducted here for the purpose of this article. The winner of the poll was NVIDIA with 21%. Apple was a close second at 17%, and Alphabet and Meta were tied for third at 14%. Tesla ranked last. Okay, so now I think I might understand. While Microsoft and Amazon were tied for fifth with 12%. Interesting. That was, I'll tell you what, the breakdown from the article that Chris did is entirely different than the breakdown from the traders here in the chat room. I like that.
Sparrow through the pre-market high. Yep.
This is going to halt again, isn't it?
It not here, but if we move really quickly into 18, it could. 1725. Come on, let's do it. Looks like there's a seller. There's a seller that's walking this price down right now. He might get deleted.
On which?
Sparrow.
Oh, on Sparrow. Okay.
I'm watching the price action.
I was going to say I have a different stock pulled up there.
All right. So SNES 376 was the high. Came off of that. Tested VWAP. Trying to come back up and push through that again. Izzy, was it you that was trading this one? Where are you seeing this one going today? Rocket Lab is fire. I absolutely love Rocket Lab. And the risk to Rocket Lab is going to be completely surrounding their Neutron rocket. They got to get that launched this year and commercialize it by next year. Otherwise, I think the stock's going to go lower until they actually get that rocket in operation the way they intend to. That's what I think this valuation is hinging on, is whether or not they can do that test flight this year. No Sparrow not Sparrow. SNES. That's what I was asking about. Where do you think SNES goes? Sparrow is still trying to get through 1725.
Really quickly here, not to change the subject here. Crow mentioning RFK is looking to ban pharma ads. RIP CNN. I saw that Bernie Sanders actually introduced legislation a couple of days ago for this same thing.
Yeah, I thought that was already getting talked about, wasn't it?
Yeah, me too. I love the idea. I don't care if it comes from Bernie, RFK, or anyone else. I love the idea of banning pharmaceutical ads on television and all of that. There was also talk about pharmaceutical tariffs, if I'm not mistaken. Trump floated that, I think, yesterday. That might have been also while he was boarding Air Force One. So there might be a larger play in that pharmaceutical sector to go after.
Take care, line. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care of yourself, Lion.
All right, Izzy. Okay, I got you. I just going to try to understand where you were seeing this go, but it's a long-term hold for you, and he's waiting for the New York Rats.
Yeah, I'm with you, Fairchild. Just get them all. I mean, look, here's the thing. The way I look at this point, if I never have to see the Jardiance commercial and song ever again for the rest of my life, I'm going to be a happier individual. People are going to like talking to me more just because I'm going to be happier. And I'm sure that that can expand to many other things.
You know what I'm excited for? I know a lot of actors aren't going to be excited for this, but I'm excited for it.
AI movies?
Not AI movies, but AI commercials. Because that's going to be such a money saver for companies like Google and maybe Meta or any company that has advertisements.
I was going to say Meta, Amazon.
Yeah. So I would absolutely like to see how that ends up panning out.
Humana at highs here, by the way. How's UNH doing really quick? Just out of curiosity. It's been a little bit since we've taken a look at UNH. Okay, so this regained 300 and it actually might be trying to UNH might be putting in a bottom here.
Yeah, it might be.
We're trading sideways.
320 seems to be the level. It's holding above its 20-day SMA. If it can get above 320, this might end up starting to trade back up.
That is interesting. There might be another big play here if this trades back up. Humana, which we traded in sympathy with this. You know what? I might ask Anne-Marie about this, folks. I might ask Anne-Marie about this. Humana trading up here. This is up by 3.73%. We did have some news on the back of this. Price target lowered from Bank of America and Truist. That put them at 260 and 280 respectively. That's still 20 to 40 points higher than where we're at right now. Cantor stuck to their hold.
Hey, Izzy, what's RT? Disney's
right.
suing RT.
Oh,
suing right now.
Right now, yeah.
Okay. AI lawsuits in the movie industry.
Wait, that was a repurposed song, Fairchild? That was an actual... Matt says, me and my son make fun of those all the time. You and your son are awesome. It's just bonus points from me, Matt. Be sure to tell your son that he got bonus points for that, because I think that's awesome. But that they repurposed a real song for that Jardiance thing? That was a real song? That sucks.
Rocket Lab, since it was getting mentioned earlier, we had some consolidation in the after hours after we closed yesterday. And that is currently behaving as resistance. It looks like 2670 appears to be that level. So if we move through that, we could see this start to trade up towards some of these recent highs that we're putting in. Looks like 27 could be next, followed by 2725.
That looks like a curl on the chart there. Tesla news is out. Musk's AI seeks 4.3 billion in new equity funding. That's not new though. What Tesla news are you referring to? Let's see. What am I missing here?
The one right beneath the Trump wants babies to get $1,000. The one right beneath that.
Analyst crushes Tesla robotaxi buzz. That's still a partner article though. I feel like that was done the day before. I don't think that's breaking news here. What's the news?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm asking. What's the move? What's the move there? The news, excuse me, on Tesla. There was something here that I missed. Sorry. Yeah, the voice in the Viagra ad on CNBC is AI. Yeah, the next day pills or whatever. I know what you're talking about. That same AI voice is used over and over again. Philip, you wanted to look at AMD. That's the comment that I wanted to get to. He had a serious question. We're out here talking about drug commercials.
ACXP, keep an eye on it if you're still trading it. But yeah, let's look at AMD.
So AMD, so this is interesting. We actually had a discussion here in Happy Hour yesterday. Zoltan, who I believe is a big AMD fan here. The big thought here is that, AMD's market cap about 200 billion, NVIDIA 3.5 trillion. So the thought here is that there's some catch up if the gap gets closed here at all. Realistically, if that's going to happen for a big move here in AMD, we're going to need some type of AI tool, and I'm just not sure we have that. Tesla plans to shut down Model Y and Cybertruck production over the week of July 4th. Okay, for the holiday, right? Like there's not nothing else tied to that, right? That's just for the July 4th holiday. Let me see if we can get some more from that. That came from Walter Bloomberg. We might not have a story on that yet. Check in on that. See if we can get some more information on that. Anyway, with AMD here, this is really going to need an AI angle in order to really kind of close that gap. However, 13 and I have done a pretty decent job explaining how AMD has actually been given a gift in the graphics card world where it might be able to make some headway in catching up to its competitors. I don't know if that's going to happen. The chart here showing a recent move off the bottom. So I think our bottom is in here. We also recaptured the 200-day, and we did it on the second attempt. Today, if we close above it, would mark our second close above that. I'll be honest with you here. AMD, I could see this trading up to 140, 145.
Yeah, my next area of resistance is going to be 133. That's just beneath the 500-day SMA. The thing that I think is really helping this movement, it's not so much on their graphics card side as much as it is their Instinct MI400 chips for their data centers that are supposed to be competitive for towards NVIDIA, or may end up getting into some of NVIDIA's chip space. They also have the ROCm software that is going to be the software platform for AI development. So it's this heating up competition coming from AMD that's cutting into NVIDIA's lunch that may be that thing that we were talking about, how some of the other companies that are producing cheaper processors with similar performance could start to eat into NVIDIA's lunch. This is one of them. Maybe Intel comes along and starts to get into that space some more. There could be other chip designers that do the same thing. Global Foundries, maybe, I don't know. But AMD, I think, is the one that has the best chance for competition with NVIDIA. I think they're the furthest along. So this is, I think that's one of the big reasons we're seeing such good movement here in AMD. It's the big competitor to NVIDIA. Yeah,
great looking chart here. Markets and Mayhem, friend of Benzinga, thank you for your support. By the way, anyone that does not follow Markets and Mayhem on X, you should. Yes. Great follow here. The new AMD GPUs for data centers and gaming are extremely impressive. This is absolutely what we've been hearing. I have no personal experience with it, but this is consistent with what we've been hearing. OpenAI made a big investment. So AMD, this is what I was going to follow up here and ask. A huge call wall here around 130. So let me ask you, the fact that we're moving through this, is this bullish here? What's the next one above this? What's the next wall above this, if there is one?
And there was a comment here I wanted to, Levy, yes, you're right about that. You're right. The CUDA is still number one. I feel like those... And maybe Market Mayhem could provide a little context on it, but CUDA is still number one, but I don't know that it's going to be top dog forever. I just don't know how else I can, kind of get into that explanation, but smarter person than me, like Marcus and Mayhem, could be able to explain that better. ROCm is pretty cool, but CUDA is still the better for inference, and that might be the case for a while.
AMDL, another way to maybe even play the AMD angle there with a little bit of leverage.
Rocket Lab continues to climb. Moved. It's still trying to get through this consolidation from the after hours. It's trading above it now, but it had a hard time getting up there, and it might come back in. Still like the movement though. Saw this. Let's see. Hold on a second. There was a piece of like a headline that somebody put out here about two tankers colliding off the Strait of Hormuz. Fairchild had mentioned.
Yeah. So what do we make of that? Do we have any more information on why that collision took place? Because to me, on the surface there shows that there's no danger of that strait being closed down. Unless you have some other information in there that I'm missing, to me, it seems like it's business as usual, maybe even an increase with some of the worrying.
Yeah, is there going to be, any environmental impact to where they have to shut that area down to clean it up, or let me know. But so far, I'm not seeing a significant move in oil as a result of it.
AMD, oh my God! So tons of call activity today in AMD, and I mean tons of them. I have this filtered for at least over 100 contracts per sweep here. It's almost all on the call side. With a 500,000 call by there for July for the 125s.
Market, absolutely. You're 100% right about that. The United Arab Emirates will not stand for that. And I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but I think that's absolutely true. Oh, this is even great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll go back to it. Sorry, I'm just trying to follow along. We're jumping around here quite a bit. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. We said that this probably wouldn't happen. Seemed like kind of an empty threat. This is some more stuff
awesome.
for that. Here's what you wanted to get back to in regards to AMD. Did you want to take something from this?
Yes, the very last sentence.
AMD management is finally focused on AI. And that we've talked about, that's going to be one of the big things that it really needs in order to turn around. Amanda here saying, I don't think AMD can get and hold above this level. It will need to live here for a while and kind of carve this out as a price level here.
That's okay.
First time above the 200-day in a long time. We talked about this earlier, Jay. That's one of the things that's really encouraging about this chart right now.
Yeah, I love it when you guys hit every note that we're playing.
Last time we were above the 200-day was October 29th, 2024. We closed above it. The next day we gapped down huge.
Yep, that's right. What was the reason for that?
I would have to go back in here. Was that earnings?
It could have been
October 30th. No, it was right after. Oh, no. Oh, nope. Excuse me. Yes, it was. They reported their earnings on the 29th. It was the 30th that they gapped down. That's exactly what it was for.
All right. We don't have that catalyst coming up tonight. So if it gaps down after this close, if you get a close above the 200, it's going to be on something else.
Amanda, selling calls into this move. What calls are you selling, if you don't mind me asking? And strike an expiry on that. That's interesting.
And, this thing, it could still go higher before it has to cool off. It's not overextended. It's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. I could see it tapping the 500-day estimate before it has to pull off of it. Absolutely.
Look at silver. We actually talked about silver with the Sprott gentleman, last week? Silver new highs here on ticker SLV. SLVR was the ticker that we looked at from Sprott. This actually so this is interesting. This had more of this is just short of the breakout here. This still looks like this might be breaking higher.
Love that comment here by Markets and Mayhem, because I think this has been one of the things that we've been talking about how the NVIDIA has been able to charge whatever they want for their chips, because they pretty much have a monopoly on the sector. But if AMD starts coming in here with similar performance chips that are it's about all-in cost is like 40 to 50% less, you're going to start to see a lot of companies buying AMD chips in order to save money. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Markets, man. And silver headed back to 2011 highs sooner than later.
What level do you have for that? I don't even remember what it was in 2011.
I want to. I mean, don't quote me here. I thought it was in the 40s, but let me double check. Let me double check here.
I'm going to run through some of the movers here while we take a look at that. This AMD call flow, that was a good mention earlier. That is ridiculous to the call side. Anne-Marie, maybe AMD for a potential trade here today.
Yeah, well, okay. So I think
Humana,
the high
or UNH. Sorry.
I think the high in 2011 was like almost $49, $48.70, $49. Double check that for me, folks, if that's correct. I think that's
so. That's still 10 handles away from where we're at.
Yeah,
so,
$48. Okay, so perfect. Yeah, so that's and we're not surface mining silver anymore. It's kind of like coming out of either deep mining, which is very expensive, or it's coming from mining other materials that just happen to have silver deposits around them. So it's going to get more and more scarce.
This MLGO news here, I don't know what I feel about that, Izzy. I don't trust that company at all. Maybe I'm wrong. That's fine. I'll be wrong. EYEN, this is moving on volume. What do we have here with this? Nothing?
I know. This makes me want to look at EYPT every time I see something like this.
Yeah, me too.
I don't see anything aside from a 13.
Oh, dude, iPoint.
Really?
Look.
All All right, I'm looking.
Look at the chart formation that we've got going here on iPoint.
Oh man. Yeah. Now, see, this. If when we see something like this is where I would start to go back and look at my notes and other information I had about when they're and when they're what their pipeline is doing and how far along they are with development. Because I think that was one of the big things that we were keeping an eye on is whether or not this was going to go to the heights we had. I don't even remember what the levels we were talking about were for this, but this was going to blast off. Maybe Zoltan could help us out here because he was on this one as well.
Are you talking about EYPT or EYEN?
EYPT.
Yeah, I mean, this worked. We talked about this
Yeah.
when this was about $6-7, and this went to 30.
Yeah.
So,
but I think this is good. So 11.25 is an important level that I have. That and $14. So we're coming up to 11.25. Really curious to see if we break through that or not and go on to 14.
Fun fact here with EYPT. I'm just going to shout this out because this rarely happens in our business, and I'm just appreciative every time it does happen. I actually spoke to a customer on the phone shortly after we released an article, or the team released an article that had my name on it about EYPT, and it was the thesis that we had generated in Happy Hour together for this. It was basically the same thing, just written out in a recommendation form. And gentleman called and said, "Oh, he recognized my name." He said, "Are you the guy that sent out that thing on EYPT?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, dude, thank you." He's like, "I bought a ton of stock and a ton of calls, and I made a killing on that move." And we rarely get people calling and saying, "Hey, this was great." They're normally calling about something they're unhappy with. So that kind of stood out there. Happy for that.
Cerro now over 18. All right, it popped over 18. 18.53 is the current high. Looking for 20 still, but man, oh man, what a great move this has been. Crow, you still in this? You're still looking for 20, right? Well done if you are, sir.
EYEN right at the highs there.
Cerro looking good. SLRX, that one never got above its VWAP, but it's still knocking on its door. ACXP, maybe this one's going to, try to go positive, but it's been mostly sideways after the drop this morning. Hell yeah. All right. Get it, Crow.
Gene Editors cooled off a little bit.
Oh, man. Rocket
RGC
Lab.
curling.
Rocket Lab has just been awesome this morning following that drop down to 25.69. We have just been taking off, knocking on the door at 27. Let's go.
Redwire, that offering still getting bought a little bit, it looks like.
Yep. I still like the space theme. Cerro, wow, $19 print. Almost there. Almost there, Crow. I know you're ready. All right. I think, it looks to me, and I don't want to, guarantee it or anything, but it looks to me like Redwire is trying to get over its 65 EMA. It looks to me like it wants to hit 18 today.
Good stuff in the Cerro trade, folks that took that one long.
Great stuff. Happy to see people making money out of that one. All right, ACXP, keeping an eye on it. It looks like it wants to just recapture that VWAP so badly. Really getting some slowdown here. It now is 10:33, so the volume is starting to leave the market for the time being. RGC halt up. Sure enough, finally broke through that VWAP and the 65 EMA. Came right up to a resistance area at about 82. That looks like a pretty significant resistance level. If we unhalt over that, resistance after that, I see at 91. And it really does look like HUSA, after recapturing this VWAP, trying to go higher. I don't know that it's going to get over this session high of 1538. But if volume does happen to expand, even though it's past 1030, look like we could print 16.
WTF halted to the upside here. No, I'm not kidding. This is that Chinese IPO that went crazy. This is now apparently coming back for some reason. Do we have news on this? Yeah, actually, we did.
All right.
No, it's just the halt. Just the halt. No, this is no.
Get ready to ring that register, Ryan. Sarah's
What?
about to hit 20.
Okay.
1960. And we'll look at Costco, Honey Badger, because if that's gone down, then that sounds like an opportunity.
Costco holding in here, although gapping down a little bit, holding in from that opening print.
Yeah, Costco been kind of sideways, and maybe we are going to get some opportunities to buy under 900. We'll see. China pumps and dumps. Oh yeah, yeah, they are. Levels over 20. Ask them for Suro.
Costco, I think the last time we talked about this, we talked about a potential add here on the 200-day. Your 200-day here is at 956. So that's your spot there on Costco.
My next level for Suro is pretty crazy. It's up at 28.15. Let me see if I can find something in between that for you.
Yeah, it looks wild though.
It's going off some levels here. Okay, how about 22.90? How about that? After 20, if it goes higher, 22.90 is the next spot. I think we'll see some significant resistance. Does it go to 26? Maybe, but yeah, I'm just gonna pay attention to that next level at 22.90 because that's where the 65 daily EMA is. And if you get a volumetric move to hit that quick enough, that could be a reversal area. So I think I'm just going to be keeping an eye on that particular level for now. If we go higher than that, then we can talk about the next one. HUSA, it is recovering, isn't it? Let me see here. I'm still looking to see if this goes to 16. The volume's not there to do it, but it just needs that big influx of buyers to help lift this up. But like I said, volume's not there. We're past 1030. Might not get it. So we'll see. We'll see if we end up getting that.
Central Bank of Iran is no longer functioning. Following a cyber attack, the Central Bank of Iran is shut down, meaning that all of the regime's funds are frozen and chaos has been created amongst the citizens.
Oh, hey, thank you for mentioning ACXP, Smoke Tuna. It did move through VWAP. Perfect. Okay, so this one we could see some pretty good activity here if it can hold VWAP. I'd be looking for a dollar recapture. It's losing VWAP, so may not get that. But that's what I would need to see. I need to see this candle, this 5-minute candle, hold VWAP, and then it might end up going back up to a dollar. HUSA still needs that volume. SNES.
We got a pretty clear trend line we need to snap on ACXP.
There you go. Oh, perfect. There we go. Nice stuff. And still wondering if SLRX is ever going to get the volume to break through VWAP, because that has been trading underneath it all morning. Sero with a high of 1971, and now we have a candle that I'm not sure if it's going to indicate that we go lower or not. Crow, where are you at with this? Are you in it? Maybe I did call it. We'll see if it gets to 20. But that was the next level I had after we snapped the $14 level. I'm sorry, no, we had the pre-market high and then this one.
I don't see anything great here, I'll be honest.
FLNC, or just in the market in general?
Yeah, just in general for new trade setups here. Ryan, did you know that Ben from Story Trading was born in Iran? I did not know that. I'm always surprised by the amount of people that we talk to on a regular basis that are either from or at one point were in Iran. One of my buddies that I visit in Arkansas, his really good friend, same deal. Our happy hour show, we've had multiple people that lived in Iran previously that moved here to get away from the regime.
Oh.
So I'm always amazed by that. Small world all the time.
Yeah, I think we got that move finally with HUSA. Looking for 15. There we go. Fantastic. And it wasn't even on that much volume, but hey, we still got it. Let's see 16. What a fantastic morning. I hope everybody's having a good day.
Yeah, I am. I'm not. I want to be more active than I'm being. I just don't feel great about it. Tuna made a great call here. I probably should have hopped on that one, but otherwise, I don't know. Become just a little lackadaisical here. Anne-Marie, they're jamming the signals across the Strait of Hormuz, so the tankers have no idea where the other tankers are. That doesn't sound great.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah, Tuna, I'm not familiar with a lot of them. I like to trade things that I'm more familiar with, and a lot of these smaller, junkier ones, I'm just not. And I should just trust the system, I feel like.
Kathy, if Cord goes to 134, I mean, I hope it works and it does that. It's still having a hard time getting above that high that we put on June 4th. But, it was looking pretty good over the past couple of trading sessions. I'll say this. If we can't get back up and make a new high today, I think that tomorrow could be more of a selling day. Because we might be setting up a type of bar hold pattern here. So we'll see if we end up getting that.
Real quick here, Kathy, I'm holding CoreWeave. I think I remember 134 as the level that was discussed. Interested in looking at your chart to support at the 134 level. So look, I think it's 143. Looking at this chart right here, we've got a couple of levels here. This 142, 143 one kind of jumps out. The 134 level is also, this is the bottom of the candle from June 5th, which absolutely bottomed down there, 134. So I would say 143, 134, two of those levels. We can actually connect these points with a trend line. This gives us yet another trend line here that we might try and break to the downside. The interesting note here about CoreWeave, we now continue to butt up to this 160. What was your top call on this 13?
The high from June 4th is 166 and 63 cents. And we have not hit that number since.
Okay. And so we've tried. We've tried. We're actually getting some wicks up here, so that top call might still be in there.
Excellent, awesome stuff, bro. $20. The Cero print is now the high print is now 2060. I think you're out of this right now, or I mean, hey, I don't care what you do at this point. You nailed it. Well done, sir.
Cero longs, really good stuff. Tuna, just a monster. Monster day here from Smoke Tuna.
Okay, now now that we're through 20, let's see if it goes to that 65 daily EMA, which is at it's continuing to rise a little bit, but it's at 22.98 right now. Maybe 23 is the level we see, but that would be where I would think we find the next level of resistance is at right just under $23.
Don't forget to vote in the poll. James says he would split the 1,000 between the 3 ETFs on the Dow, SPY, and NASDAQ.
Oh, Jay Rice, you're absolutely correct about that. Yes, we have the Fed FOMC meeting that we're going to get our rate decision. I don't think anybody's thinking that it's going to be anything different than no change. But the important thing is that we do get a lot of projection materials that we only get 4 times a year. That and dot plots. We talked about this yesterday. So that we're not going to have a whole lot of time for regular session trading once that comes out, because that's supposed to happen, I believe, at 2 p.m. Tomorrow. And then we have 2 hours left, and then we have Juneteenth holiday. So no trading all the way up until Friday. Gives investors plenty of time to digest and then make their moves on Friday. So I think on Friday we could see some, early morning, wild price action, but I would anticipate that it's going to die off pretty quick after the open. That would be my guess. Cero's halted, is it? Yes, it is. 2150. 2150.
Halted to the upside. Just another really great call there from Smoke Tuna. Just on a regular basis here.
Yeah, and if this unhalts, I think I'd be looking at 23 as the spot where it would run up to.
And this is interesting, Kevin. PreMarket now predicting that a regime change likely here, right? You're talking about the supreme leader being removed from power. Okay, that's something to keep an eye on.
We had that conversation too a little bit too. And if that were to happen, and opinions welcome, because I think this is still speculation. But if that were to happen, where the regime would change, and that would make me wonder if we are going to see a prolonged stability in the Middle East as a result. I know there's a lot of nuance to chew through once the regime changes, and who's going to be the new leader and all this, and how's governance going to work. But I think this could be one of the earlier steps to a lasting peace in the Middle East. So we'll see how true that ends up being. It
seems to me that most of the people actually want that. So maybe I'm just being an apple polisher here, but I hope that's the case. Also, really quickly, we were talking recently about food stocks. Just noticing here, Cracker Barrel up 4% here today.
Consumer discretionary. How's Play looking today? Because that's kind of
just going to say
that's been kind of what I've been keeping an eye on ever since I mentioned it.
It's Play looking like it's trying to break out from yesterday's highs.
It's still it's still got that $33 resistance area because there's that low from November that it might run into. But this is in gap fill territory now. So if we do end up filling that gap, we're looking at what is this? Looking at somewhere in $35 handle that this could run up to before we see some reversal. And it does need to turn around and cool off. 80 RSI, this thing is very extended. Really happy to see multiple closes above the 200. So my thought is that if this does cool off, which it needs to, that 200-day SMA is going to play a part in supporting it.
J. Michael, take care of yourself. Thanks for your support here. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Von Rivera asking, how can you have a regime change in wartime? People are in hiding. That's really like the $64,000 like move here, if you will. I didn't want to say question. That's really the move here. It appears, I think what nobody wants is the United States or Israel or some other country going in there and installing their own regime, right? I think that's what we're all trying to avoid here. It
didn't work last time.
Didn't work last time. We all know how that's worked in the past. And I think what's going on here is it's the attempt to try and get the Iranian people to do that. Again, unsure if any of this is going to happen, just kind of speculating. How can you do it? Not easily is the answer. But if most of the top brass is gone and the regime is crumbling, is there a better time, Von, than now? I don't think so.
Yeah, Gary, I appreciate that. I hope you were in that one too, because that was a really nice move. This HUSA up to 1684 now. This is that break over. I think it was over 14. That was all we needed. Now this thing's taken off.
And you folks, Brittany and Crow, you guys are talking about float figures. Just as a reminder here, and what was the ticker on this one? That was Cero, right? So just as a reminder here, float, just a notoriously difficult metric to pin down. Here's another tool for your toolbox, folks. KnowTheFloat.com.
RGC, right. Sorry to interrupt you. RGC, keep an eye on it. It looks like we could get a breakout. Sorry about that.
You're good. KnowTheFloat.com. If you ever want a second source for checking the float, whether you do it through your broker or through Pro or whatever, here's another website. This is going to give you 4 different sources for the float. Just taking a look at Cero, we have 4 different numbers. We have no number from the Wall Street Journal. We've got 46 million from Dilution Tracker, 6.98 from FinViz, and 7.05 from Yahoo. So this just goes to show you how it can differ. Sorry, what were you trying to say?
Cero open and it blasted off. $25 is the high print now. Just absolutely crushed that next level I was looking for.
Unbelievable. Another register ring due for the group here.
So if this goes higher from here, which I'm not sure it will, but I have 28.15 as the next level.
Definitely, just so you're aware, Smoke Tuna, because the call was so crispy this morning, definitely have some regret not trading this one here today.
And I think I get why I was so amped up this morning.
Look
I
at
felt
this.
like today was going to be a good day, and look at
this. Trout bum. I see more fishing in your future, my friend.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Now, can we change your name to Trout Billionaire since you're not a bum anymore?
Arguable that he was never a bum to begin with.
I know. I'm just listen.
Yeah, Brittany, that's the thing. Like some of those sources are going to be different no matter what. I don't think I even have one here on Thinkorswim.
Absolutely, Richard. Judge telling you, there's always going to be another opportunity.
Always.
One of the biggest. It was that one that ran from $10 to $2,500, and it was like, there's always going to be another one of these.
HKD. It's one of the reasons why you guys don't see me getting really mad if I miss something, because I know I'm going to get another opportunity. Maybe not that day, maybe not the next day, but at some point it'll come back. I'll be all right.
BBAI popping now too. Trying to go back towards these opening highs of 437 that it was doing. Getting through the 425 area, which looked like that was about had some resistance in that area. HUSA still above 16. That RGC that I was mentioning, that it hasn't made a move yet, but it's still holding above the 65 EMA. Need to see some volume in this one, but it just looked like it had a really good setup here to go higher. So that's why I was mentioning it earlier.
Okay. Yeah, Smoke Tuna saying, I see the Cerro float is 317. That's, I think, what we have. No, 384. So you and I are close.
I don't think it matters. If it's under 100, if it's under 500,000 shares, this thing is going to move easy.
Yeah, no question.
It's still looking for new highs. Still trying to take out 25. It's not too far away.
Really good stuff here, folks. 9 minutes until we move to Anne Marie.
Oh man, looking forward to seeing what she's got for you.
Me too. I'm curious, and she said that she's got a bunch, so it sounds like we're gonna move fast through them. Hopefully, the computer cooperates with that.
BBAI still grinding higher.
Crow saying tomorrow MCTR is gonna squeeze.
What's the reason for that?
He said the 4-hour reversal. So this is what he's looking at, a reversal of this 4-hour chart. He's looking for maybe another spike here.
Okay.
Iran stock market closed till Sunday. They probably have bigger issues there.
They have a stock market?
I guess.
I didn't know that. All right, here we go. Cerro, new highs. So looking for 28.15.
Peace for all countries saying this can trigger World War III. We're already in pre-stage. We're trying to avoid all of that. Trying to avoid all of that for everyone's sake.
Yes, it certainly does seem like the chess pieces are moving. Cerro, 26.18 now, 28.619. Man, oh man, this thing is going to halt, isn't it?
This is... Man, oh man.
And nope. It looked like it was, but they didn't. Still going higher. Maybe it halts now. 26.45.
Around here at some other stuff. Oh, hang on one sec here, 13.
There we go. Now we're halted with Cerro again. Okay, so now that the attention's off Cerro, there might be some others that move as a result, because traders don't like being bored. The BBAI could be the next move. Still waiting for something to happen with RGC. Yes, thank you for pointing out that it was I think it was based in Hong Kong, so it could be a pump move. Rocket Lab, high is 27.16. We're still at 27.06 right now. Looks like it might be coming back in, but nice move today in Rocket Lab. Even though those rockets do launch like this, they always end up coming back down. At least that's what they're trying to make them do. Make them come down and land. Sarah was in the 800s in the fall. Am I in anything today? Anything? I traded Sarah and HUSA. That's what I've traded today. I don't have any positions right now. So, I'm missing out on all the movement here because my whole thing was, getting to a certain level. I wanted that breakout. I got that, left it. Thought maybe it could still go to 20, but I didn't want to jump back in when it was already on its. I'd be chasing. Would have been a good chase. It's like a dog chasing a car that actually catches it, but it doesn't fit my risk profile.
A lot of these don't fit my risk profile, which is one of the reasons why I don't trade them, especially if I feel like I'm slacking or behind a little bit, which has been the case here recently. Mayhem mentioning sound and BBAI potential short squeezes to play out. We've been talking a lot about BBAI recently, and we've actually been relating it to SoundHound. We've seen that move. This BBAI intraday chart sure looks like this is trying to go higher.
HUSA is about to go higher. It's knocking on the door of the high of 1684. Don't know how much more gas it has left in the tank. It's an oil and gas company. It's a joke. Anyway.
I got you.
All right. Let's see here. What else is looking good or bad? So SLRX fell out of bed. That thing looks like it's putting in a bearish flag here. This could end up going lower under $1.
Which one? Sorry.
That was SLRX, one of the ones we were looking at today. Mm-hmm. ACXP had a pop over VWAP, met with equal amount of selling. Ended up with a bit of some bearish chopsticks. This might go lower as well if it loses the 65 EMA. Looks like a lot of things are pulling.
Cerro halted again here, 26.45.
Yeah, that's still the same halt.
Ooh, Sound and BBAI are part of the hedge fund's most shorted baskets.
Take care, Kevin.
Good stuff. Kevin, take care of yourself, man. Appreciate everything that you do for us. We'll see you tomorrow, right, my man? How much time do we have left here?
Not much.
3 minutes.
Not much. And the only thing that I'm kind of waiting to see what happens that is of any interest to me is if what happens out of this Cerro halt. We're going to hit that 28.15 and be done, or is it going to go higher into the 30s? Do not know. But either way, it's been a fantastic morning. I hope everybody's having a great morning as well. And if you're not, stick around for Anne-Marie. She'll make sure that you do have a good morning.
So poll results there, $1,000 to invest at birth for 18 years. 59% of you said an ETF. 27% of you said Mag 7 stocks, one of them. And then 13% of you said other stocks. So interesting. It seems like I like the results of this poll personally. It tells me you folks are thinking long-term here. I too would go to an ETF. That's actually what I voted for.
That would make the most sense. Because if an ETF is not going to have one piece of bad news that's going to take the entire stock down like it could with an individual company. If that happens with an individual company, well, that ETF will just rotate it out of there.
Yep.
So yeah, ETF would probably be the safest for the long term like that. Absolutely. And they're probably going to end up being more ETFs and stocks by the time that they mature. Cerro just opened. 26.88 was the high, and then now we're knifing, and we might halt into this knife.
Is this on Cerro here?
Yes.
Okay. Musk calling for New York Times WAPO reporters to take drug tests. Probably not a terrible idea.
Take a drug Tesla? That's what I almost read that as. Because it did a T.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man.
All right. Well, BBAI had a little bit of a drop, but it's trying to.
AIP speculated partnership with NVIDIA, ticker AIP. Seeing this from yep, and this is popping here. AIP.
Look at a daily chart. I think we have another inverse head and shoulders.
On which one?
This one.
Oh, on AIP.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. And that neckline's looking like it was at somewhere around, it could have been 850. Matter of fact, I think I'll just do that. 850 is the neckline. Maybe slightly, maybe somewhere in 840, but the 840s, but I'll just say 850. If we're going to continue to get a resolution of this, we're going beyond 9.
Okay, 13. It's time to move over to Anne-Marie. Any closing words for the group here?
Hey, fantastic day again, folks. Great time with all y'all, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. Hopefully, I'll bring the same amount of energy and get some good rest tonight, just like I did last night. Have fun with Anne-Marie. She's going to have a great amount of stocks for you to talk about, or to look at, apparently. So enjoy the time with her. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. 13 out.
All right, 13. Appreciate you. As always, have a good one. We will check in with you tomorrow. And yeah, we'll make sure 13 is rested. We'll make sure he gets some rest and gets his coffee in the morning. 13's departure leaves room for Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, how you doing today? Happy Tuesday.
I'm doing great. I just 13 was wired for sound.
He was wired today. Sometimes when he's that ready, you just get out of the way and let things happen. That was my plan. That was my plan here today. I'll take it. All right. What do you want to take a look at?
I have a slurry of them. I wanted to first tell you that I've been looking at a few seasonality things, and the week that begins the 20th of June to the 26th of June is one of the weakest months of the entire year. And so as we head into a very big OPEX coming towards this week, a lot of the support is going to be expired. It's going to move to the next month. So we have a number of things that look like we could have some pretty buyable opportunities into the latter half of next week. So I'm super excited to see what next Friday has in store for us as things set up. So
okay, so really quickly, just to put some dates to that, you're saying that a seasonally weak period starting this Friday, June 20th.
Yes.
Through Thursday of next week. Okay.
Yes.
And then Friday, we're going to be back, right? You'll be back here for the Friday spot next week. That's going to be perfect timing for this.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And Tuesday, we'll do a couple of setups going into that to see what's going on. So I would like to cover AMD. If we stare down a weekly chart, we can see that it's sitting in a space that looks a little bit troubling on the outset. If we just look at the weekly, we are underneath a 63 moving average, and we are above a 14. I think that's what this is. I'm a bit schizophrenic on these moving averages sometimes, so I want to make sure. 63.20. Yep, absolutely. So we also have momentum cresting really high, and so we notice in areas of past momentum like this, they can really run up, but then they give back a fair bit. So if you hold AMD on a bullish formation, I would say look to lighten your load as it heads up just a little bit higher, because we do expect something that comes in to test really how the week opened, how the month opened at around 110 to make sure that it holds very nicely. And so that's what we're looking at. Average weekly range is $11.59. So it's not a ton, but it's certainly a fair bit, particularly where we're sitting, right? And so Could this
Oh,
be
man,
an
yeah.
inverted head and shoulders pattern on the daily? Why, yes, it could.
Yep.
Peter Brandt, who's a pretty famous commodities trader.
Another great follow on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't really like inverted head and shoulders pattern where the neckline is on a trend, but that's neither here nor there. My thought is this one's got a press to the upside, a little bit of a pullback, and then another press forward. So if we're staring that down, there are a couple of ways to trade that from the bullish perspective into the end of July, and it is super cheap. We have the 140, 145, 150 butterfly. If you want to expand that, it's a little bit more expensive, but I'm not sure it's worth it might be, that's neither here nor there. That's a personal thought about, what you want to do with that. So there we have it. I do have the back ratio. I've mentioned that a couple of times. You buy the first call and then you sell 2 of the second calls. It opens up about $1,400 of risk. So a little bit like an iron condor, but that's also a possibility. And then finally, if we take a look at the iron condor, it doesn't give us a ton. If we sort of come back into the range, we can look at maybe 105 to 145. If we did 105, you'd see it's only 57 cents. And if we did 145, it'd be $1. So I don't like the iron condor there at all. Now, here's the thing. Because we have this expectation of a fade into this seasonality event, it might not be a bad idea to say, put your hat on for this and set an alert, or put it in there and try to be cheap, right? Maybe try and get it in there for 50 cents so it fades and then it gets filled, and then you can turn around and move to the upside. So that's really what I would suggest. I would try to get the spread that's 10 wide, and I would try to get it for 50 cents. If you get it, great. It's got $1,000 of updraft if it lifts like it's supposed to. And if it doesn't, maybe you set your stop at about 12 or 15 cents. And so you only get a small haircut there.
Are you taking a fly and the back ratio here? Are you taking both of these, or is it one or the other?
I currently have the back ratio on. So it does, you can actually take both of these if you take the 10 wide spread, but I am already in this back ratio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next thing is another one you mentioned. I listened to you all morning, but I was very quiet. Didn't chit chat much other than, I knew what was going on with all these tankers running into each other. They are jamming all the signals through the strait, and it's just so that the military conversations can't go. But what it's doing is screwing up all the sensors that sit on these big tankers and all the stuff in there. So let's look
That's
at
a disaster waiting to happen. Hopefully we don't have to. Hopefully we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. Hopefully we've got eyeballs there that are at least putting out drones going, okay, here's what's happening. But you can't fly drones if they're jammed. So it might be better just to anchor until it gets all settled in. All right. So AV, as soon as you said, hey, these guys are, leaders in the drone space, I started looking at this, and on the daily chart, it looks absolutely fantastic. Not to buy here right this second, and here's why. This area of congestion ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trading days before it gapped down due to an earnings space. Here, it gapped up into the space and then immediately fell and then gave us a lower high. Right now, we are battling against the halfway spot of yesterday's motion. I suspect this one fades. Now, in the event that it fades, it should make another pretty good buy. And so let's take a look. Oh, wait. I did not notice that earnings were on the 24th.
So that's a
All
week
right.
from today, right? Let's see,
Yeah.
24. Yeah, that's a week from today.
Okay, so what I put in here, again, statistically speaking, and based on the formation, I expect a fade into support where it will become another buy event. It's all the way in July. You wouldn't want to close this one
Uh-oh.
all the way to July. I would say, hey, listen, wait till July and see what gives there. And then you'll have yourself something that looks a little bit more manageable. So that being said, if you want to take this, it's $1.23. It's a $10 spread wide. I picked 170 for the following reason. It's got a 30-point expected move. And so 30 points would make it 159, which would be the center of the butterfly. And if the chart performs to the downside and goes all the way to the expected move, we get the full profit. If it just fades a little bit, we still get to collect a bit. This is only going to be a problem if the price action runs to the upside. If you're inclined to say, hey, I want to take these guys long, clearly we can see above 200, the traders are going to say, if they're short, they're going to say, holy cow, I got to get out of there. And that puts that top edge, looks like maybe 220. So that one is a little bit more expensive, but we can certainly price it out if we said 200 to 220 to 240. But you could also make this, a 10-point spread for the butterfly and get yourself a little bit cheaper into the upside there.
That's
So,
considerably cheaper.
yeah. So that one looks pretty good to me. Also, it's well inside of the expectation of the move for July, and so pretty cheap coming into targets.
Now, your thesis here of this coming in and then moving, are you taking both of these at the same time, or are you basically
Yes.
just said, okay, so you are.
Yeah. Set
Okay,
it and
gotcha.
forget it kind of thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, set it and forget it kind of thing. All right, the next one is Lily. I wanted to look at Lily again because I think this one is a beautiful target for oh my. It looks like I dropped pickup sticks on the charts. I'm so sorry. Yikes. Okay, so this one looks like it's really caught in a trading range, and it's right in the middle of it, meaning we get premiums that are perfect on either side of it. I don't think it gets to 900. I'm more inclined to think it gets to 850 in the near term. Notice it's got overbought signals here, and that does tell me, hey, listen, potentially they should fade into support, and then another run happens. The moving averages are a little bit down on both sides, so I suspect the buyers try to reload somewhere around 760 or 750, and so I've got a spread here that collects $4 It was $4 a minute ago. Now it says $3.90. So what we are looking for is to collect about 50% of this credit into the space. I have the put all the way down to the bottom simply because at certain times, Lily can really sort of give us a little bit of a shock event. But if you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, you could always do the 720, 710, and that gives you maybe 30 more cents or so. But I really like the iron condor here because it's trapped in the middle of this range. They've got a lot of arguing, and literally almost every single time it's come here, it's both faded and bounced. And so that tells me it's in a complete sideways pattern, particularly on the daily chart.
The other thing is we got news here recently about the trying to peel back pharma ads, right? We had Bernie Sanders introduce legislation to do that. We have RFK talking about that. We had Trump, I believe, last night float pharmaceutical tariffs coming pretty soon. So you might actually have some movement here in Lily.
Yeah.
Breaking out of the no man's land.
If you're interested in saying, hey, I just want to go completely short on this because I do feel it's going to run into that edge, I would say, now might be a good time. If you're interested in doing that, you just, the spreads get pretty expensive if you just go, flat out on the spread coming into the area. If you decide you want to do something like a butterfly, I'd say it would need to be about $30 wide just to give the price action a little bit of room. Okay, so we'd need to make it 40 wide because it's not 660, 650. Oops, don't do it for me. Sorry. If you made it just a little wider, you could open up some risk and get it on the cheap there. I just am not sure that I'd rather watch it break down and chase the short rather than jump in front of the short, because the price action literally is telling us there's a coin toss between whether it moves up from this ledge or moves down. So I love the iron condor right there. Okay. Oh no, the spinning wheel.
I was going to say we got through most of this without even seeing.
Yeah,
it looks like it didn't stay around for very long anyway, so that's good to see.
Okay, so the next one I have on the list is, I think I did this one. Let's see. Comstock? Did I do this
CRK?
one? Yes.
It's Jerry Jones's company?
Yes. So, for Comstock, it is really stretched. And notice when it stretches in times past, it dips, but it holds a really nice level. So if you're saying to yourself, listen, this thing's got legs, I think it's going to try and get to 40, whatever it is that you're thinking that it's going to do, the goal would be to buy it on the pullback. And so how might you do that? If you said, hey, sell it to me on the pullback, I want it to come to 22 and I'd like to actually be put to the stock, then you can do something simple like selling the 22s for 15 cents so that you can get that position. But it does open up a little bit of risk, especially if it pulls back a little bit. My thought would be, if you're going to take that kind of risk, why not move down into an area where you're actually going to get paid? And so I would say, sell the 23 puts for $1 into September. If you're thinking this chart is going to run, I would say the following: wait until the end of next week to position yourself. And then you can do something like, oh my, there I am talking about it. And then all of a sudden it started happening. A spinning wheel there. Just wait for it to pull back. Let it test that 25-ish area and then position yourself with, a long call spread or something that allows you to position yourself into the future for a little bit of risk. You could end up getting it at the money. It'd be 25, and then, you could sell that spread for the 25-32 spread, and you probably could get it for, a couple of bucks.
Okay. Good stuff there on CRK.
Yeah, the last one I have is GameStop. Have you ever seen me put a play on GameStop?
I haven't. I'm actually shocked.
Right. Okay, so I did some seasonality studies on this one, and no matter how hot it's moving, it has a tendency to sell all its bounces in this region. And so if we go just over the year, we're going to see this formation right up here at this 24-ish level. That is support, and then resistance, and then support. And then to the left, it's support, resistance, 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 and then support. So it's got a pretty nice statistical edge of not being able to move up. And indeed, if it follows the seasonality, it should fade into 2150 to 22. And so you might go, wow, what can I do there? If you are really saying, all right, I'll put some money to work on this seasonality thing, this seasonality action event that's potential there. What does it look like? You could easily buy the 2150 puts. They're going for 21 cents. Only lasts a week. If you're thinking the chart is going to be a better move into the future, if you take a look at what they've got at the end of the July, those 21s are going for 65 cents right now. And today, it's already got 1,000 from a volume perspective, and the total open interest is sizable on that put side there. They've got 12,900 puts sitting in that region. If you wanted to wait for it to get fully into heavy congestion, or you said to yourself, you know what, I'll take the other side of that bet. I think it's running to, 25 or whatever. The volume is also sizable there, but the option is really expensive. And so if you're taking a look at something, I would say the simple 25-28 call spread for 58 cents. If you're bullish and you're thinking, absolutely, that's what I want to do, that's the trade for you to think about. Did I do Reddit? I think I know. I never do these.
I like it though. We're going to ones we generally don't look at.
Okay, so let's take a look at Reddit. I think I might have stopped shy of positioning in this one because of how the chart looked. So let's have a peek. All right. Waiting.
It's coming. We still got time. I'm optimistic here.
So yeah, it's running a lot. And I think your comment was, who knows why it's running, or you might have said that about GameStop too. I don't
No,
know.
I didn't initially, but I believe that they had news about new AI tools here at Reddit, which is what caused this move higher.
Okay, so super interesting. This one's got a weekly ATR that's pretty sizable, $22. It came right into this high, the candlestick here on March 17th. That's the high of this candle. So it's actually sitting in this box. And so the question is, are people going to stay in long enough to watch it move to the next leg up, which it probably has got legs into that space, or will it fade into the weekly support near the 120s? My thought is it could do either. And so this is another space where I would say, hey, over the next month, let's see if we can get ourselves an iron condor. And it's got a fair bit of volatility. And so if we take a look at, because I just forgot, if we could take a look at the 110 to 150, let's see what that gives us. 110 to 100, 150 to 160. Pretty nice, right? $338 dollar credit, and the delta is 2. And so remember, folks, for those of us who maybe don't trade a lot of options, this delta of 2 says the probability of this expiring in the money is 2%. And so that's pretty nice in my mind.
Dude.
So yeah, that's all I got.
If that's it, we've got one more here from the chat that we can take
Love
a
it.
look at.
Let's do
Boeing.
it.
And Boeing obviously recently been in the news because of the Air India flight. Now, we were talking to 13 a little bit earlier. He had said that it's looking more like pilot error because they haven't found anything yet, although it's not official. I actually saw that another 787 was sent back to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia this morning. I don't have the article handy anymore. I have no idea if it's related, but nonetheless, I'd like to hear what you think here on a Boeing trade.
Yeah, this one, Boeing is sort of the girlfriend or boyfriend that you think looks really great on the outside, and then you start getting to know
I'm
them, and you're
laughing
like,
because this is relatable.
oh my gosh, Boeing is a heartbreaker. Whether you're long or you're short, Boeing's all about breaking hearts. So let's have a peek. The big thing, these guys, they do have a lot of work in military sectors and special sectors. So I don't know if the blow will be cushioned, but to me, look, this 128 is more the price I think Boeing actually ought to be. And so the question is, are they going to lift off of this edge? Now, the zigzag pattern shows a short at the beginning of this week. And so if you don't use a zigzag, it's the high-low. It literally is called zigzag high-low. You can put it on your chart, and it really will give you a clue as to what risk might need to be based on the formation. So the trend is a little bit sideways, a little bit noisy. Pullback's probably going to get bought over here, but I don't see anything wrong with a short into Man, my memory today. The short into 185. So maybe 185. Let's see what the chains are saying. $16. Oh, look at that. 185. So that's what they're pricing in for July into
Mhm.
185. So maybe we choose 190 to 180 to 170. And so $1,000 upside, $73 downside. And, that's what I would look at based on the zigzag pattern, the flat moving average, the extension away from
Okay.
this range. Let me see if I can do Fibonacci on just that range, and then I will let you go. Hang on, 2 secs. Is Sandy right behind me?
No, Paul Meeks is behind you.
Okay. All right. So I will say goodbye right after I blow that through. Yep. I think everything is showing a pullback into congested support.
That's good because I actually have a trend line that Boeing traded up into and might run back in. So I kind of have the same view that you do. Okay, really good stuff there, Anne-Marie. We got through a number of tickers yet again. Way to have that ready. Really good stuff. So no spot on Friday. We'll be back next Tuesday, and of course we have a webinar tonight.
Yes. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks
You
for the call.
too.
Thanks for the seasonality data. We'll see how that shakes out, and we'll address that next week.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.
Take care. That is Anne-Marie. Folks, I'm going to send you over to Paul Meeks Tech Tune-Up right now. Just sit where you're at. I'll send you over there. Thanks for everything here today. Stay green, stay safe, stay